You're listening to Grim 86 Freedom First Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 61 of the Grim 86 Freedom First Podcast. This is the Halloween special.
We got some horror lifestyle for you guys, and of course, pumpkins.
Yeah, and I got my top 13 vampire movies that I love.
Ooh.
So we're going to go through those.
Coming at you.
Yeah! Welcome back to another exciting episode of Grim 86 Freedom First Podcast, broadcasting deep behind Emmy lines. Yeah.
I'm your wicked master, Chris.
Ooh, I'm Johnny Doe.
And my name's Jamie. Welcome, everybody. Episode 61. All the haters who said we wouldn't fucking make it. I don't think anybody said that, but I like to say it anyway.
Yeah, I like to believe it myself.
We have a
I
great
like to
time. Hey, you know what? We're having a great time over here because it's getting close to Halloween.
And we have Taco Bell on the way.
We have Taco Bell on the
So
way.
there is that.
Val is quickly, swiftly driving, heading her way back in a
I feel like we're all drunk or
furious,
high, just so you guys know.
hurrying fashion. She will approach
Yeah, we're all
with-
drunk or high, so.
with
Or both.
some Taco of the Bell.
Hurried. She's hurriedly.
She's hurriedly moving towards us like the wind.
It's going to be a good time. Yeah.
Christopher. I'm feeling a little Halloweenish. You asshole.
This is going to be an amazing show. I called it. I said it's going to be number
my
5,
God, dude.
part 2.
Jesus
Which makes
Christ.
it number 10. So we're back to episode 10.
Dude.
There it is, everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, this is like the
6110.
pre-Halloween
Party.
extravaganza.
This is the
here.
pre-party for Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
Because next week we're going to do the Halloween special.
Oh, that's gonna be so awesome.
Which I'm stoked for. Hey, we're gonna carve a pumpkin live for you guys next week.
That's
so
gonna be
if you
on
guys
the live
wanna
stream.
Come in.
Yeah.
You want to join us before we record the podcast about
Right.
5 p.m.
On Monday.
Come on in there. I'm gonna
Monday.
carve a pumpkin.
Yeah.
I've said it live now, and
So
this
now he's holding himself to it.
I'm making myself accountable
Yeah.
by not only putting a live stream out saying that I would do it, but then also
That's
a recording.
sphincter, bro. Don't show that. We're gonna get banned, bro.
I'm just saying, it's there.
Well, Pornhub probably would be fine. The gaping asshole.
Just saying,
Yeah, it'll be great.
it's available if you should need it.
He's just trying to show you behind the scenes what he gets to stare at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This asshole.
That's how it
He
goes.
set it up that way on purpose.
Originally, it was just facing him, right? So,
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
I feel like this is gonna get all messed up.
it already is already.
I
messed
know.
all
up.
good.
I know.
But we're good with it.
Well, so
my ADD is so fucking
That's
bad.
all right.
before we go any further,
Yeah, let's
I
do
just
this
wanna-
social
quick-
media.
Yeah, quick shout out to the viewers. Make sure you guys are thumbs up in this video. If you guys are new and you like what you're hearing, which I don't know how you possibly could by this early into the show, but hey, and by
No, how could you not?
miracles happen.
No, I'm not agreeing with Jamie here.
This is the best
This
show in the
is
world.
amazing.
So yeah, make sure you guys are subscribing if you want to hear more of us.
Yeah.
You know, hey, it's a good show, and plus we have awesome gear. You guys go to
Oh, there you go.
shop.spreadshirt.com.
Look at the sexy
Check
shirt.
out our
Get
gear.
yourself a fucking t-shirt.
Look at that shit.
It
Look
does
at
get
that.
you laid 100%.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
200% of the time
I
you wear
can
it,
fucking
you get laid.
attest to that. This
Straight
guy
up.
gets laid all the fucking time.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, you see,
because he's wearing his
you
Grim
see-
86
and a
Freedom
blue
First
Cartwright
podcast shirt.
sweater. I mean, who is not getting laid?
Dude, totally.
The man speaks the truth. I mean, who am I
Yeah.
to...
He's a sorcerer of words.
Yes.
He's a wordsmith.
He's very elegant.
Yes.
You're an elegant man.
I'm an elegant man.
Coxman.
A coxman. Oh,
God. Damn, this show is going sideways real quick.
off the rails
All right.
we go.
So, anyone have anything to report? No. Jamie, give us a little social media. Interrupt it.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Social media.
So if you guys aren't already following us on social media, make sure you guys check us out on YouTube, which is most likely how
fucking up
you're
at life is basically what you're
watching this
We're
right now.
weird.
We're also available on Twitter and Instagram, and where else are we on? We're on Pornhub for sure. We're not on SoundCloud and Spotify right now. We'll work on that. We'll get back to you. Okay.
Mostly the Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. Let me just.
Well, of course, YouTube.
Here, let's just do this right. Let me just pull up the things here. If you guys want to check us out on social media, please check us out on Facebook.
That's the old one.
Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Pornhub, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we're there. And if you guys want to go to a website to get our merchandise, go to shop.spreadshirt.com/Grimmy6.
Where you get the cool shirt.
Pick yourself up a shirt, a hat, a mouse pad, a button, a tote bag, a sweater. It's getting cold, people.
Yeah, a water vessel.
A thermos. Thermos.
I think we have some koozies on there too, right?
No.
A boat, Johnny?
I wish. If
Water
there
vessel.
was.
That would have been.
What'd you say?
Water vessel?
Oh.
A boat?
Yeah, sure.
Grim 86 Freedom First Podcast.
Boats and hose, bro.
Boat. Yeah. Definitely check us out, though, guys. Follow us on social media. That's the only way you're going to get notifications when we go live and whatnot. Social media does not like the stuff that we talk about, so they generally do not push forward our updates as they do other channels. So if you do not subscribe, chances are you will not find us.
Tough shit.
So
Then you're not even here.
yeah, so go do that.
So if you're not even here, then doesn't matter.
Help out.
We got a link to the merch store down below, just FYI.
You're so excited. Help out is what I'm trying to say. You're like,
I
you
just
didn't
break it
say
down.
it?
I just boil it down to this basic principle, man.
Help out.
Help out.
Hey, just help us out a little bit,
Hey,
okay?
sure.
You know what I'm
Fucking help
saying?
us out, huh?
Whoa.
All right. So anyone else have anything or no? Because I'll try to steer this a little.
No, I'm ready to go to the first topic.
Ready?
Do you want to do the first?
Do you have anything? No, if you have
No,
something. No, after you, sir.
No, please.
no.
All right.
We're having
Half
a
Moon Bay.
Canadian
I
standoff.
feel like our very own Chris went to Half Moon Bay.
Reporting live from Half Moon Bay Pumpkin Festival. So the wife and I took a little trip to Half Moon Bay. Half Moon Bay is about, I would say, about an hour and a half
From this area?
from here.
Yep.
From here, about an hour and a half.
The
down to
Gilroy
coastline.
Morgan Hill area. About an hour and a half.
So I like to take
South Bay area,
I like to go over Hecker Pass through Highway 1
which is a fun drive.
over to I forget what highway it is that takes you into Half Moon Bay. 98, I think it's 98. So I take that route instead of going through traffic. I do that stuff every day. So I
want to change it up.
Yeah, so it was a nice scenic route. It took us a little bit longer because we stopped. There's some like absolutely beautiful
Picture opportunities and views and stuff.
People having
That's
a good time out there, and so we kind of just took our time. We got there.
So he's talking about the Half Moon Bay Art and
Pumpkin
Festival, yeah. Which started in 1971, Chris.
1971.
Point that out. So go ahead. I'll just jump in whenever I have little add-ons to.
So 1971, we got to walk around. There was tons of people there. Maybe you could pull up a picture.
Oh yeah, you have pictures ready to go.
I have some pictures.
Well, I have your pictures ready to go. Whenever you guys
Let me
are
give
solid.
you a little trivia there, Chris. On the
Okay.
very first year in 1971, 30,000 people attended.
Not that
In
one.
71.
30,000 people in 1971.
Yeah, that's not bad, bro.
That is pretty damn
For
good.
the first one.
I only have these ones.
Okay, yeah,
so
we'll start there.
start
We'll
here.
there, and then we'll end with that one. The
Okay.
first one.
So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You want me to go and put this up live?
Yeah, put it up.
Okay. Hang on, let me maximize real quick here.
So I got some pictures for you guys. Here is the Main Street, Half Moon Bay. So you walk downtown Half Moon Bay.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird because the highway like drops you right on to.
Yeah, isn't it like if I remember right, it's like right off the road.
Yeah, right off
Like-
the highway. And so we got off the highway and we pulled right in. We found some parking for $20.
Oof, $20 is $20.
Oof.
Dude. Hey, the guy,
Oh.
he had his own little like parking area, right? And I love this. This is totally
Fucking free,
capitalism.
free market parking, dude.
Free market parking. And this
Hold
is
on,
why
hold on. Free marking?
I just heard coins go off.
I see. I mean, because
I just heard
if you
coins.
say free parking, then that's misconstrued.
Right.
I mean, that free
Free
market
marking.
parking and
Yeah.
free parking are totally different.
Right.
But free marking, I don't know. We could maybe make this work.
That could work.
That could work. All right, you could. I'm sorry to interrupt. you.
So we had some free market. We pulled
Now
in
back
there.
to Coxman.
So when I got there, I counted. I gotta give it to this guy. He's awesome. I mean, it's free market. So the guy had.
I feel like he's a hippie.
No. He wasn't a
Okay.
hippie. So he was parking cars.
Lot cool
When
if he
I
was.
left,
Wait, like he was valeting them or just
no, we were
directing-
pulling in, and
Okay,
like he was
okay.
keeping the car safe.
Okay,
right?
gotcha,
And
gotcha.
charging people.
he's watching them?
Yeah, it was his little piece of property or whatever.
Gotcha.
So he, when I left that area to go into the festival, I counted $400 of cars
$400 worth of cars
in the parking area.
because they're 20 a car, right?
20 a car.
Wow.
When I came back at the end of the day, he had $800 of cars in his little parking lot.
He had 891. I don't know how he got the one. Maybe it was a tip.
Maybe, because they tip out
hashtag-
there
That dude
Just the
straight up
tip.
scraped together $800 for a day.
That's crazy,
for a
dude.
day.
I'd fucking do that every
Hell
day.
yeah.
That'd be my job.
And then I think the festival. How long does the festival
What-
go on for?
I think it's
Don't you
2
know?
days.
2
Dude,
days?
I think it's
Holy shit! What do you do for a living? I park cars on my property.
Yeah.
Everyone's
So-
like, that sounds stupid. I'm like, really? Because I make $80,000 a year.
So to add to what Chris is saying, more than 200,000 people every
Tax-free.
year show up.
200,000. Yeah. That it.
Dude, that's tax
When
free.
I was
That's
there-
now. So the 30,000 was that very first year in 1971. Now we're talking 200,000 every year. So we're gonna just go through them.
No. Here we go.
So what's this,
I
Chris?
just. These are second, third, fourth place pumpkins.
Okay, yeah, because the big one is the
Yeah.
first place.
Yeah, and I couldn't get a picture of the big one because they had it behind like hay bales and like you have
Protected.
to. Yeah, you have to pay to go in to
go see it.
to
So
go
the
see it.
festival.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris, I'm gonna tell you what Wiki says,
Uh-huh.
and you're gonna tell me what you saw compared to these. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go through a list. So they had food. I'm assuming.
They had tons of food,
Okay.
really good food. As
Give
a matter
us
of fact,
thoughts.
we tried. It was macaroni and cheese,
Pumpkin?
pumpkin spice,
That sounds idiot.
That sounds awful.
mac
How
and
was
cheese. It was actually
was
pretty,
actually
It
good?
was pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a pumpkin spice guy though. I like that stuff.
You look like a basic
Yeah.
white.
That's okay. I like pumpkin spice.
Sure, I do too. But
So okay. So yeah, we did that. We saw.
you are wearing the white headphones.
I,
So.
is that a thing?
Yeah, we kind of made that a joke about Bo.
Okay.
It was inside. Like if they all yeah, just continue.
So here,
We'll just
so
let that go.
Here's the second place pumpkin. I mean, this thing was enormous.
That is fucking huge.
Yeah.
It's on a fucking pallet, bro.
Dude, it was.
It's like a
That
reinforced
thing is
pallet.
like 3.5 feet tall.
I believe it. It looks
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That's
There's
bigger than a pallet, I think.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's like a special made pallet, dude. Look
Yeah.
at that thing.
That's
It's got like a 2x6 on
That's
the
a
side.
stage that they made.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they did. I
Yeah.
literally did. So here's the actual like some of the food trucks that
Okay.
were there.
Oh, see that? I didn't even know you had that.
Right.
There we go. All right, wait. Now, so while we're there, so now
Uh-huh.
arts and crafts. Do we see that?
I did see arts and crafts. I didn't
This is
do
off
a
the wiki,
whole
so-
lot of
Sure.
arts and crafts, but I did happen to capture this picture.
Hey.
Yeah, it is a pumpkin festival. People walking around in their costumes.
Yeah, that's
She
pretty
was
cool.
actually doing a
Jack Skellington kind of. Stick.
Yeah, she was modeling for
With
some
Mickey Mouse
tattoo
ears,
place
which
that
is
was
interesting.
out there or something.
Oh, for a magazine
I-
or her own page.
I just
or
happened to catch that picture
Is she
real
like
quick.
a like
something.
a,
on
like-
accident, right?
was
Yeah.
like, was she
So-
like a booth babe or something?
I don't know. I mean, she was just kind of sitting there taking pictures for this guy's shop, like right in
Well,
front there.
you keep saying she was taking pictures, but she was having pictures taken of her, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
She
that-
has a red umbrella
Okay.
too,
Yeah.
just
All
so
right.
you know. I just
same-
saw that.
I mean, to me, it's the same thing, but that's okay.
That's fine.
Car show.
Okay, so
Was there cars?
somebody was taking pictures of her
What?
in front of their shop. Okay, I
Try-
didn't see cars.
Okay.
I did not see cars.
Okay.
I mean,
but you saw,
I saw some nice cars, but I
you didn't see
a car
them like
show.
set up.
Car
Okay,
show,
I'm
yeah.
going off Wiki. All right, now we got haunted house. Did you see a haunted house?
I did not see a haunted house.
So they lied to us again.
It's gonna be fucking 89
States.
degrees tomorrow, boys. Just FYI. on
That's
that
not
That's great.
fun.
one. No.
Marching band.
Not excited about that.
Marching band.
Well, I feel like Chris gets to places late. So.
No, actually, we were there like at 10 o'clock.
Oh. So
Yeah.
then I would imagine you would have seen it.
Yeah, I didn't.
So negative?
I didn't see a marching band, but I did see there was multiple stages and bands, but there was no.
Okay,
marching
so there was
band.
music.
Yeah, there was music.
I'm still, once again, I'm going off wiki, so
Right.
everyone knows. Beer and wine.
There was beer and
I
wine.
made sure to write that down because that's important there. And then the way off. Did you get to see anything about that? I believe it's earlier than the event, though.
Right. The way off was actually, I think, last Saturday, or it was last Saturday.
Well, the article that
and we were there on Sunday, so we missed the way off.
We looked up the article. Go ahead and show that last picture before I go to what I got to go to because there's a story about it.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's Chris with his AMCAP shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, sexy man.
Yeah.
He's got that white altimeter
dude,
again.
Check it out, dude. Okay, so that
Way
right there,
smaller than the black altimeters, just so you know.
the pumpkin place that we went to had pumpkins for like $5. Like you would expect those pumpkins right there to be like, I don't know, what, like $30?
Yeah.
We
I
got
would say $90.
Wait for all what?
for those 3 pumpkins right there.
$90.
Oh yeah, I guess
About $30,
30
right?
bucks, but yeah, I don't even know if I'd pay
How much?
$30 for that.
We got away with those for $15. The whole thing.
That sounds
Nice.
about right.
That's really good.
Did you
Yeah.
also notice that those 3 pumpkins in that configuration
Yes.
look like the world's
Yes, I was
chodiest cock and
hoping-
balls?
I was hoping somebody would notice. Yes,
Well,
Yeah.
Jamie's a pervert. So
that is very. That is very phallic. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jamie.
It's
for
your
pointing-
boy. Of course, I'm gonna notice.
Yeah, holla at your boy.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Jamie
cool
can
little
find
truck in the
cocks
background, too.
anywhere.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring us back up on the big screen here,
All
fellas.
right, so we got
are
the pumpkin way
off
off.
of that. We got
So
that
the world
completely out of
record
there.
was, let me give you the world record first. So it's 2,624 in 2016 was the Guinness Book of World Records
Oofer.
for the heaviest.
Wow.
Now this was this year's.
Okay, I'm bringing us over.
2,175 pounds was this year's,
Wow.
which is no.
500 pounds
Yeah.
less, right? Holy shit! A half, like a quarter
That
ton
doesn't
less.
That doesn't sound like a lot, but
This shit
it's
would
a
kill
fucking
you.
Huge amount.
This shit would kill you if it dropped on you.
That
oh,
is-
yeah, oh, definitely.
That most cars weigh little more than that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Trucks.
No, a small car would weigh less than that. I think
So this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
that's
It's
fucking.
basically
Do
what
you want to
Jamie
watch the video?
Not
I haven't seen
really,
this
but
video.
we can.
I don't know if you had watched it before.
I have not.
Or
But
what.
you can. Let's do it.
Let's throw it on. Let's see what happens
Let's
here.
see what it is.
The volume may blow us out of here.
I feel like the
don't know.
volume's off, so that's cool. Because there's an X.
All right. Well, hey, that shit clicks over pretty fast sometimes. Let's see.
The Lord of the Gourds, this
Wow.
behemoth
The
pumpkin
Lord of
stole
the
show at
Gourds.
this
It looks like a
World
nutsack,
Championship
bro.
Pumpkin way off in Half Moon
Like a
Bay.
Giants
It came in
nutsack.
at, get this,
Yeah, look at that.
2,175
Bam.
pounds. That's a new state record. The farmer responsible for growing
So it's
this
a state
gigantic
record, but not
pumpkin
Guinness.
was
Look at this Dale
Leonardo
Earnhardt looking
Molina from
motherfucker,
Napa.
dude. All right.
He's got his flight patches and
He's
everything.
ready to go. He's like,
He's an NRA member. You see him?
I grew this
You
single
see that?
white pumpkin.
Elbow grease. He started growing the pumpkin in
A lot of
April.
elbow grease.
Urena
You-
also goes home with more than $15,000
How do you grow a
in
pumpkin? You
prize
just
money.
water it? That's all you gotta
He
fucking
says
do.
that
It's
will
not
go
a big
lot
deal.
of
Inject the plant
fertilizer.
with something, right? Some fucking glyphosate. That's a
I don't know.
glyphosate pumpkin.
Fucking
right
don't
there.
eat it. Whatever
fuck
that
off
means.
with
No.
this.
Don't eat it.
Yeah.
That was
Probably,
hideous.
probably not a good idea to eat it.
Yeah.
I just feel like we just saw a giant nutsack, and that's all we really saw. And Dale Earnhardt, so number 8.
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt presents.
Number 3. Wait,
And
is he 3 or 8?
and
I know
three.
his son is
NRA.
the-
3.
Well, his son is
God
8.
damn it.
Well, his son is 8, so I wasn't off.
You know what?
So we eat a dick. You wouldn't have known that.
There was
Tell
dick,
right now.
there was
I
dick
did
eating
know it.
going on.
That his son was 8?
Who the fuck cares about
See, that's what I'm
Junior?
saying.
Who the fuck cares about Junior?
He's way cooler.
Yeah.
He's way cooler. He
I
didn't
did
die.
it for
Do you know
Dale.
why he's cooler? He didn't die.
I
All
did,
right,
I
let's
did it for
continue.
Dale.
Oh, I like guys who don't die.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Mountain Dew sponsored
Very,
them, so
that's very Trumpy.
well, yeah, we're a winners, bro. We got a lot of orange on the table, so we can relate.
Oh.
God damn it.
Yeah.
No, we can't. No.
All right. Was there any other good, fun takeaways, Chris? This is all your fault. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just
yes.
want to make
all
sure you
pumpkin
know.
all the time.
No.
So
That's
what
not
did
what I was talking
what
about.
did you?
Oh.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like what? So, what about the pumpkin spice lifestyle appeals to you? You know, that's what I'm most interested in.
What I like.
Like
God.
this season comes around,
Sure.
and a person like you. So me, I see that
A
the
person like
yeah,
yourself.
no, hold on, no, it's gonna
Person like me,
We're gonna we're gonna make it real awkward. Hold
Okay.
on, let
I
me
feel
let
it
me
already.
get let me get through this.
Continue.
Just let me get through it.
All right, go ahead.
So this time of year comes around,
Mm-hmm.
and someone like yourself is like, "Oh, great, it's my season." You're excited for all the pumpkin spice themed drinks and colors and
Yes.
whatnot.
Uh-huh.
What about pumpkin spice appeals to you?
It tastes like pumpkin pie.
I like pumpkin pie.
Dude, exactly.
I mean, you might be making a believer out of me here. If that's the simple answer and that's what it is,
That's the simplest answer, man.
all right, I'll give it a shot.
Tastes
You know
like
what I mean?
pumpkin
I'm
pie.
not one of those people that like will not try something based on print. Actually,
You
I am.
would
I am
you
that
would
person, but-
absolutely love pumpkin beer. No, it has a hint of pumpkin and a little bit of the spices on it. Dude, it tastes fucking fantabulous.
So I'm gonna say one
But
thing.
this was a long time ago, so it's been a while since I drank.
I'm gonna say one thing about that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what I like. First of all, no, I'm just kidding.
Don't you ever tell me how to
Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to live.
I have to follow your orders, Dad.
I'm not a communist.
That's a delicious spice you got there, Jamie.
I'm not the reason we lost Vietnam.
Oh, my God. It's funny because I actually watched that part of the show right before we started recording earlier today.
That's so good.
Just that part, though. And I was laughing.
Oh,
Oh,
Christ.
jeez.
All right.
Simplest
Okay.
answer. It tastes
So
like pumpkin
pumpkin-
pie. It,
Hey.
it, I mean, like, okay, if you want to
I dig
want me
pumpkin
to
pie.
get into it a little bit,
Well, we're going to talk about pumpkin spice.
and we are. All right. Pumpkin spice is not a new fad. A key ingredient was found on a shard of ancient Indonesian pottery 3,500 years ago.
Yeah, that's... Dude, I know I said shart, whatever. it is.
I know.
Potty humor is funny.
We're trying to.
That was amazing, though.
That was
3,500.
It's not a new fad. It's been around for at least 3,500 years. So
At least the
the
key ingredient.
Indonesians knew about it, so it must be a good
They
thing.
didn't
right?
say what the key ingredient was,
So,
though.
No, it
let's,
didn't.
Hey, let's
Yeah,
this.
'cause
How
I
about
remember I saw when you were looking that
this?
up.
How about this, fellas? Instead of calling pumpkin spice basic, we'll call it I don't know, indigenous or
Classic.
cultural.
Classic.
You know,
Appropriation.
appropriation.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
I don't think anyone's used that term before, so we should totally use it.
I think we're pretty open as
Yeah.
as white men to use that. I'm pretty sure we're pretty open to use that.
I concur.
I disagree, white man.
You have the white headphones, bro. You're good.
Oh. Bow wore 'em, so we're good.
Oh, man.
Okay.
All right, so what else you got about pumpkin spice?
All right, today pumpkin spice is
I feel like it's another Spice Girl.
it's pumpkin spice.
Or the old pumpkin spice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Donald Trump's
She's the round,
daughter, right?
She's the round orange one.
pumpkin spice.
So you can find it pumpkin spice just about everywhere. Starbucks didn't create it. The first mention of pumpkin spice was in 1995, and it was labeled to a candle.
So it's a flavor of a
Nice.
candle or scent of a
Yeah, it was a
candle,
scent of a
whatever the
candle.
fuck.
pumpkin
It was
spice.
it was a flavor to some people, Johnny. Let's be honest.
In
I
1995,
feel like we know who's buying those.
the flavored ones.
Yeah.
Well, pumpkin spice. Hey, girl, I'm buying it.
Just saying your headphones, bro.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
He's making a
Just
real good case for pumpkin spice for me, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
Pumpkin spice is great.
I feel like
You
you,
know
would
what it is?
relate very well.
You know what it is? Hold up.
And-
Honestly, this is what it is.
I think
I've
it's
never
delicious.
I've never been sold pumpkin spice by a male peer, and I think that's why I'm
Oh.
relating to it.
And that
finally.
just happened right now?
Yeah.
It must be super special.
I think that's what's
You're
happening right now.
Yeah. And there's no pumpkin in pumpkin spice. Just so you know.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
But it spices the pumpkin.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. All the
Mhm.
spices. Oh, the main spices.
Now I don't like
oh,
it at
you
all
did
Oh.
write that down.
because it doesn't make any sense.
I did. What doesn't make sense?
There's no pumpkin in pumpkin
There's
spice
No
that-
pumpkin.
because that spices
because
the
the
pumpkin.
spices spice the pumpkin.
I like it.
So the ingredients in pumpkin spice are ground cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves, and allspice. Allspice is just kind of
A generic thing.
yeah.
Isn't that a
generic.
men's deodorant?
yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
By Menon.
All right. I was in that was the only part that I was surprised about.
Allspice. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't do it. The
You
whistle.
You said by Menon?
Yeah, sure. All right.
Unless
What do
they're
we got?
Amish, then they're by Mennonites.
But they wouldn't be wait,
Mennonites.
I feel like that was blasphemous in some weird way, but I don't know.
No, it was
Just with the ites
it
part?
wasn't blasphemous,
No,
but it was
the
a
ites.
stretch. It was a
Sure.
stretch. Yeah. It was a long way to go for that one, and I apologize.
This is all Chris's fault.
I like
I'm just
it.
saying.
I got it in there though.
Pumpkin spice.
I have a
It's
new
actually
rule.
a Family Guy
Hey,
joke. I'm pretty sure.
My
I
new
stole
rule
that.
is when Chris is high, showing up to the podcast.
So they don't like
I'm
pumpkin
drinking.
spice. I mean, what do you guys think? Pumpkin spice is great. I like
think,
it.
I think I'm converted to pumpkin
super-
spice.
Like I like pumpkin spice coffee, creamer. I like pumpkin spice Twinkies. They make those now.
I didn't know
what?
Yes.
All
Pumpkin
right. Not know
spice
that.
Twinkies.
All right, I will. This season, I will try a
Yeah.
pumpkin spice.
Dude,
Twinkie.
they are fucking good.
Come
Okay.
I across one, I will purchase it.
I will bringeth one to thee.
Damn.
What? Do we just get
Oh.
old biblical King James?
Aye,
shit
sir.
Right here? Yes,
we're getting Elizabethan in here.
old King
Aye.
James. All right. So, Jamie, I feel like we have a pumpkin chunkin video that I have
We do.
Pumpkin
made.
chunkin'.
We do. I'm
So
gonna pull this up for
you guys all remember pumpkin chunkin'? It was like a huge thing on the
Yeah.
Science
Hold up,
Channel,
sorry, this
Discovery
might-
Channel.
This might fuck. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Got
or
it,
we
got
could
it.
do that.
Yeah.
So there was everyone saw the show, right? It was a big thing.
Discovery Channel.
Oh yeah, in
Was it-
November especially.
Pumpkin
It was
chunkin'
on,
was a thing.
It was on the Science Channel.
Yeah, that's what I just
We just
said.
said Discovery
no,
Channel.
I said
No,
Discovery.
I actually said Science and Discovery
Oh,
Channel.
oh, you did.
But we're not
Okay.
listening,
Alright.
so let's just pause
It's
it.
not.
All right, so everyone remembers pumpkin chunkin'.
Yep.
Right?
Abs-
It was always on Discovery Channel, Science Channel. Science Channel is actually the one that like really ran the whole thing. Lately, we haven't seen it on TV too much because there was a lawsuit. One of the producers that was basically running the show, one of the air cannons blew up, and I believe it was 2016, and it blew up, and it put her in the hospital. She filed a lawsuit, so we haven't seen it on television since. She actually, this last year, this 2019, she dropped the lawsuit. So we don't have that anymore, that problem anymore with them being sued. However, it's still not really like being televised the way it was. You'll find it on local news coverage and stuff, but you're not going to find it on like the big channels. You know what I mean? Like History Channel, Science Channel, Discovery Channel. Like we a couple of years ago, we saw it all the time, right? Like it was always on in November.
Yeah. It was It was popular, right?
So
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Thanksgiving,
So what
Halloween,
I
pumpkins.
didn't exactly. I didn't know though that it started in 1986. Like I actually thought it was more of like 2000 something. So it's been around for a minute. I think let me see real quick because we have a video. We're gonna play it. I just want to make sure I get everything right here. Strap the suit. Okay, so pretty much the general like concept is air cannons and catapults. And basically, they want to launch whatever, or even manpower, but they want to like make that go as far as it can go. So,
Right.
like the pumpkin. So
Without
that's pretty
using-
much it. That
what-
was the concept of it.
So how do they shoot it? Like through with the trebuchet or a gas propellant? To for the contest.
Air cannons
Air
or
cannons?
catapults are like the main ones.
Right.
Or
Oh, okay.
trebuchets or whatever, or
The
like
catapults, yeah.
power.
Okay.
They'll pull it back and then it'll launch like a slingshot. And then the Guinness Book World Records is 5,545 feet in 2018.
Wow.
So you can look that up if you guys want at home. And that's a Ralph J. Ebsborn 2. So that's his name. Check that out. But we got this video. You'll see in a minute.
All right, here we go.
So this is for Chris. This is the theme song. So there's some air cannons.
Air cannons.
Look at
Gonna
loading
load
that bitch.
Bad boy up. Warning.
That guy, he looks like he works
Yeah.
out a lot. There's some spring tension.
Yeah, it's really important you find 120 millimeter pumpkins.
Look at this
only.
armor. Like,
Otherwise,
so
they
those,
don't fit
like-
down the barrel.
check this out. Look at how big that bitch is, bro.
Wow.
So
That's a lot of fucking force.
a lot of
dude.
engineering too. Think about
Yeah.
that shit. Now, when you see this pumpkin hit, pay very close attention because they're gonna show right here. Watch this.
Yes.
That's sexy.
Come on, man! This is all for you. I made this video for you.
The fucked up part is I forgot about this.
You guys are fucking up my shit.
Yeah, boy, go.
Oh, that bass hit though. The 808. Yes.
It's all for this, bro. You should appreciate this, DJ.
Oh yeah,
shit.
dude.
Look at he's voguing.
Fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. To the beat.
The hand moves.
I think I saw his junk move.
He's losing
I
it,
think
dude.
so.
You're good, Jamie. You can stop this train wreck whenever you want.
I turned it on.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I first heard about Punk and Chunkin in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And on Nickelodeon, which my generation was actually like Nickelodeon was my shit, right? I think I had to have been the first generation where Nickelodeon was like a big deal. And then every generation.
I remember when I was a kid.
So was Nickelodeon prevalent for you? When
It
you were a
was
kid?
when I was a teenager, actually.
Yeah, when I was a teen, that's when.
See, so that just kind of shows
my nephews
the little bit of age gap that we
Right.
have. Like for Nickelodeon was like heavy, big. Like the Nickelodeon Studios in Orlando, Florida was like, oh my god, like if I could ever go there, that would be like, whatever, the biggest deal. Anyway, long
It's not
story
that
short,
great.
there was a show called Figure It Out, and what they would do is it was actually a panel, and it was a panel of stars from Nickelodeon shows. So you get guys from like Pete and Pete, or you get guys from what was the Good Burger show? Keenan and Kel.
Oh yeah.
You get guys, so like Keenan would be on there. Guys from like All That, like All That was like their
Right.
SNL for Nickelodeon,
Right.
which I absolutely
about
loved. Yeah, dude, it was so good as a kid. And then anyway, you'd have these celebrity stars on this panel, and you
I'll
get
stick
this
with Saved by the Bell.
this like kid would come in, this person that was not a movie star, just a nobody. They come in with a parent, and they would have like a talent, or they would have something about them that they had to figure out, right? And so they'd ask a series of questions, yes or no, and they would kind of narrow it down, kind of like Who, or Guess Who, the game Guess Who. So you ask questions, you kind of narrow it down. Every time you get a word right, they put it up on the board, and then basically it would create a phrase, and that was the phrase that this person was like known for, their special talent, whatever. One of them was this kid was like a champion pumpkin chunker. And that's where I learned what it was. And it was like champion for his age bracket, I think, because the little rig that he had was like something that a child would make.
So 20 feet record.
Something like that, yeah. but he did make a trebuchet. Like it was a catapult or a
that's cool.
trebuchet. It was something that fucking launched a pumpkin like a football field.
Ah.
But that was the first time I ever heard about it. I was like, pumpkin. I was like, you mean pumpkin chucking? Like, because you're
Right,
throwing
right,
it, right?
right.
The chunkin
But
part
no,
throws
it's
you.
called
Yeah,
chunkin'.
they call
It's
it.
pumpkin
Yeah.
chunkin'. It is what it's called, and it's a real
so
thing.
weird, yeah.
Yeah,
I've always
fucking
thought
weird.
that.
But yeah, I liked it.
Pumpkins!
So I've known about pumpkin chunkin' for a really long time, 20 years.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Mr. Yeah, fancy pants. Pantalones de fancy.
Sure. All right, so I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
Yes.
What horror movie creeps you out? Like, it could be just the character. It could be the movie. It could even be not a horror movie. It could be just some kind of like we were talking earlier that Jamie said he's scared of heights. So it could be like Cliffhanger or some shit. That's not what he said, but I'm just saying like
Right.
you could be
Right.
scared of
He
that.
just
Something
gave an
that
example.
creeps you out or a character. I'm leaning definitely more towards the horror stuff
Right.
because it's Halloween. But if it is something and you don't have anything else,
Right. I have something, but go ahead, Jamie.
No. If you have something, go for it. That was
go
kind
for it,
of the issue with mine and Johnny's conversation. I don't necessarily. I tend to latch onto things that I find horror or find scary, because I think it's a defense mechanism. So if I find something terrifying when it comes to horror stuff, monsters, paranormal, whatever, I'm more interested in it, and I tend to like kind of make that my
gravitate towards it.
Yeah, I make it my sanctuary. That way, like that thing can't make me afraid.
This is a very smart tactic, except in one instance.
What's that?
Jaws, motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That is not good.
Sharks are pretty scary.
So that's on my list. But yeah. Did you have any more to that? I mean, I know I interrupted, but
no,
I-
not really.
okay.
Not really.
Jaws is mainly the one that you. So yes, he is right, and that's very good, like strategy and shit for everything. If it scares
Well,
you,
I just like creepy shit too.
but you
is the
can't
thing.
go into another creature's domain. You know what I mean? Like the water's their home, right?
Right.
So I would say Jaws still creeps me out. The Exorcist freaks me the fuck out still. I'll watch it. I'll watch both of them. I own Jaws. I don't own Exorcist, but It creeps me out, bro.
What the
Do you have any?
that remix version where she or the reboot, not the reboot.
I like
but
you said
the,
remix.
The
Remix!
yeah remix. The re-edited version or whatever, the redirected one they did in the director's
Like
cut.
a director's cut. Yeah.
It was in I think in the early 2000s, where you saw the scene where the little girl came down the stairs backwards, like in like the crab walk or whatever, and like that was fucked up.
Do you know
'Cause the way
that
they
like
animated
when
it-
they pulled her to the ceiling? You remember that scene?
Oh yeah.
They pull her to the ceiling and she hits and everything. Like she broke her back, and like the screams are supposed to be like the legit screams from
Wow.
breaking her back.
Really?
The actor broke her back?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Really? Oh my god, I didn't know that.
That movie is creepy as fuck, dude. That bum. Do you remember the bum dude that like asked for like some spare change, and then later, like in the movie, she says the same exact line, like, but
Oh,
in
I
that
didn't-
guy's voice.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So that bum was like possessed by the fucking devil, or was
yeah,
the devil.
Or yeah.
Fucking creepy,
yeah, it was
bro.
fucking creepy, dude.
I still can't remember. Like, I honestly cannot remember one time I've ever watched that movie from beginning to end.
You
Is
know
that a
what?
cool
I have the
fact?
same fucking. I have the same experience with that movie. I've never watched it from beginning. to
Okay,
end.
so
Yeah.
right here, Knuckles. Just saying, would you not say Jaws was creepy as fuck?
Jaws is creepy.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you can't.
And it's a real thing too.
You can't
like a
fight.
real,
That's
real
not
thing.
something you can fight. You know.
No.
Like if you get into the situation where there's a fucking, monster underneath you
Right.
swimming in the water.
Yeah.
That's like that's
a demon of the deep.
That is an actual scenario that could happen.
Yeah, it's plausible.
Yeah.
And we saw what was her name? Deep Blue or Big Blue, whatever it was in Australia, of course.
That
Remember the
fucking-
big
Oh
one?
yeah, yeah.
Great
Was
white.
the same fucking size as Jaws, so we
Right.
know it's a real thing.
It's like 30 feet, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I think it was
crazy,
the
man.
32-footer.
The thing that the movie
If
that
I
creeped me
remember.
out like probably the most.
Oh, do you have another one?
Yeah, I mean it's not. I mean it's a Stephen King movie. I know. you're
Whatever,
not-
but it creeped you out.
but it creeped me the fuck out was Pet Cemetery.
Oh, when you were a kid, right?
Fuck
When you
Yeah,
first saw it.
Yeah, dude,
Church
that-
the cat, dude.
What creeped you out the most about it, though?
at the time it was filmed in a different way than most films were
But now when
shooting.
you watch it, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's so bad. But back
But it
then
creeped
it
you
was
out.
really dark. It was like there was just like this creepiness, like this uneasiness throughout the whole movie.
Dude, the
Like
whole
you
thing.
ever been?
Because
you
it
ever
was
been?
because it was like, okay, so let's just real quick. Spoiler alert on Pet Sematary if you haven't seen it.
The kid dies.
Fucking TikTok, okay?
Sure.
So the cat dies, gets
kid
brought
dies.
back. Then the kid dies, kid gets brought back.
You
Then
want
the
to go to
fucking
the old Indian burial ground.
the all is lost moment.
the ground is
The wife dies.
spoiled.
Right. Right.
The wife gets buried, the wife comes back, and that's the end of the fucking movie. She's like, they're hugging, and then she fucking knife comes up, and then credits.
Three
It's like,
strikes, you're dead.
yeah, you're done. It's
You're dead.
classic.
You shoulda
though.
learned,
it's
bro.
classic. You got an evil cat, you got an evil fucking son, and you got an evil
church,
wife,
Church the cat.
and now you're dead.
Church, dude, I'm seriously getting fucking chills just
Oh,
mentioning that
sweet.
fucking.
So,
So church, yeah,
go-
that was one of the things. Like when Church came back, and they were like the kids were calling
that cat
him.
ain't right.
They're like, Church,
Mhm.
like there's something wrong with it.
You
You,
knew,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, it was, and then like the warnings they got not to bury their dead.
Two-part. So, like, as a kid, Pet Cemetery was your freaky thing.
Right.
So, as a kid, I remember, like, Friday the 13th. I was freaked out. Or not Friday the 13th. I'm sorry. Nightmare on Elm Street. I was freaked out of that. Pet Cemetery, I was a little freaked out. I was a little freaked out on that one. Jaws was freaked out on that one. But I'm saying, like, now, like, still, what creeps you out the most? Would you still agree with Exorcist and Jaws probably? I mean, we can watch them. I'm not saying that.
Like the creepiest scene. Okay, so
Like, what creeps
I'm
you
gonna
out
have
now?
to. I'm gonna have to go with the creepiest scene, and it was the scene in
What movie?
Insidious.
Okay.
When, like, the guy's talking to his wife across the table or something, a friend across the table, right? And then like,
I don't know if I've seen this.
so the wife is like standing there, and she like, oh my god! And right behind her, it just shows like half of a face of a red and black faced demon standing behind him, like scowling at him, and then it disappears. Dude, that fucking creeps me out.
Hey,
every
Jamie, do me a favor.
every time
Open
I
up a
fucking
window
see
and
it.
look at what year that came out. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Which
I
movie?
know the name Insidious.
Insidious. Yeah, that's
I just like to know
that's
that.
one scene that fucking freaked me out, dude.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen it.
And
20
I'm not
2010.
2010, so
I
it's a
don't
newer
really
movie.
get. I really don't get freaked
But
out.
Well, it's a
during
decade
scary
ago.
movies, yeah.
yeah,
Damn
it's
near.
new for us.
Yeah.
For me and Chris, it's newer.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Could you not
I'm
call
just
it a new
saying.
movie?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a new movie. It's new horror.
For you kids.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got the dude that played the Night Owl from
Oh, Samsonite. I was way off.
Samsonite. Yeah.
I don't know where that came from, but whatever. It was the O, definitely. All right. Now, next question. Real quick question for you guys, too.
Yes.
What horror movies, we talked about this a little bit on the live stream, what movies are overhyped that are like, they could be series, they could be TV shows, they could be anything. Like,
Chucky.
I agree. That's on my list right here. See? Chucky's right here.
I think The Walking Dead's overrated.
Walking Dead is definitely.
I mean, yeah.
No, it's over. It's
Simply
overhyped.
put, I'm going to say that.
Walking Dead for TV shows, 100% Walking Dead is overhyped. Chucky, Nightmare on Elm Street, now not the first movie, but all the ones after that, overhyped. And all of Friday the 13th. To me, overhyped. That's mine.
Yeah. I don't know. Like
way too much.
I cannot think of the last time a horror movie was like hyped.
Think horror. Keep thinking horror. What's overhyped?
I can't think of anything. Like anytime I've seen a movie that had to do with that genre, everyone's like, yeah, it was good, or yeah, it was cheesy, or whatever. But I mean, it's like I've never seen a horror movie come out and everyone's like, dude, you have to watch this.
Babadook. That was like a whole like Netflix Twitter thing for a while.
I never saw that.
Babadook, yeah, that was way overhyped.
It was all hyped up.
Yeah, it was.
What was that idiot one that we were all making fun of where it was like everyone was deaf and shit? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the blind
Sandra
one.
Bullock.
The blind one.
Bird Box.
Bird
Yeah,
Box.
everyone was like, "This is amazing."
I was gonna say
I
It was
liked it. I didn't-
stupid.
I
No, I'm
liked
not
it.
saying that
Yeah.
it was a garbage movie.
Yeah.
Overhyped.
I was gonna
Yeah,
I was gonna
definitely
say
overhyped.
that, but I didn't watch it, so I don't know if it was overhyped or if it was.
It was
actually good.
overhyped.
I have no idea.
It was ripped off of like 4 other horror movies, dude. I think The Mist was one of them.
Oh,
and
God.
then what was the other one? Shit, I can't. I'm going.
that
blank.
one where they can't fucking make any noise with Mark Wahlberg
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes, it was totally rip-offs of like 3 or 4 other movies.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was done well. I'm not going to say it wasn't done well, but it was way overhyped.
Well,
and
you
people
know why it was done so well is because it was a Netflix budget. So Netflix coming into this new genre, you know, instead of just playing movies, they're now going
Well,
to
look
make
at Jessica
movies.
Jones and
They're-
Punisher.
yeah,
and all
they're
that.
gonna
It's
put.
great.
They're gonna make huge budgets for those movies, and Netflix doesn't have to doesn't have a lot of like, I guess, overhead. I would say, I don't know.
Well, compared
mean,
to like Hollywood,
They make
right?
huge amounts of money on the movies already. You know,
Yep.
they're just gonna make on rental movies or Netflix.
Dude, some of those Netflix
subscriptions.
movies or shows are
Yeah.
just amazing.
Yeah.
bro.
Well, I mean, look at Strange Things.
Stranger Things is awesome.
Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
awesome. I love
huge budgets, man. I
it.
mean,
Especially season 1 is
all that-
amazing,
dude, all that technology that went into making that movie, all of the
All that technology went into making it look like it was from 80s.
right,
But it was good.
Seriously. Yeah,
It was
yeah,
good,
it's
right?
crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, just even the like being in the upside down and
And the music, the concepts,
Yeah, I mean,
the actors, everything they did that was like, even though like there's timeline and things that
Right.
are not correct, like we all heard.
like there are movies that we've watched lately, Johnny, that had way less of a budget than
Oh,
probably
yeah.
probably
Oh yeah,
any
especially
of the,
during
of
Halloween
the
time.
Marvel, yeah, any of the
Especially.
any of Netflix's movies.
Yeah,
I mean, we just what did we just watch? We just watched the
we're gonna talk about it. Black Sunday.
Black Sunday.
We're
yeah,
gonna talk
that's
about it on
be
my
great.
top 13
Mm.
countdown.
Oh yeah,
Super sexy.
yeah. I mean, the movie. Oh, we won't get into it too much, but I mean, that movie looked like it had a great budget,
Right.
and at the same time, it probably wasn't even anywhere
Nothing.
near what they're
It was an
getting now.
Italian movie too.
Yeah, it was an Italian movie.
Yeah,
Fucking
so
great
we'll
movie.
get to that in a second.
Yeah,
We'll touch that one.
Yeah,
real
that
quick.
was awesome.
We'll touch it real quick.
with
Just a
permission.
Just a little touch. Just a little touch.
Sure, a little caress.
Consent.
All right.
One
well,
last caress.
let's go ahead and get into it then.
One
Well, first of all, we want to talk about
caress.
what's happening to our sacred All Hallows Eve, right?
Yes.
It looks like some fucking organization is trying to move the Halloween date.
So there's a petition that
Yeah.
came out trying to move Halloween to the. So the way it started out was they wanted to move it to the last, and this is the organization itself. They wanted to move it to the last Saturday of the month, which, okay, whatever. It is what it is. But we all know like the 4th of July, it's a date, right?
Mm-hmm.
Halloween is a date, the 31st, right? So Christmas is the 25th. It's not like Thanksgiving or
because
Easter where we can move it to,
it falls on the date because of the like as far as like the calendar
pagan
goes,
whatever the
pagan
fuck.
holiday.
Yeah.
It intercedes with the date 31 or whatever.
So it's like this is the day that it's
Intersects.
exactly. So
Yeah.
this is intersections. So this is exactly where it's supposed to be. So this is the whole bullshit rundown. Basically, what Jamie's showing you right now is their like bylaws and bullshit. So it's basically an organization of a bunch of corporations that get together to. It's about money. But here's their argument. Their argument was to make Halloween a safer, longer, and stress-free celebration. How the fuck?
they're deciding for me. They're deciding those things for me.
I agree. I'm saying that this is a free market thing, so I'm not
Right.
against it. However, how does it? They don't have any argument to support any of those accusations
right.
or claims. I should even
Right.
say.
Stress-free for who?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who could it be? It's a night where my children are going out either with me, or if they're at that age where they don't want me to go anymore, I have to decide, okay, do I have teenage children that want to go trick-or-treating? What are they going to go do out there? Like, Halloween is never going to be fucking stress-free for anybody, I don't think, except for the kids,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
I'm against it. Like, dude, it is what it is. Leave the fucking day alone. And furthermore, what they're already arguing is already happening. So whenever there's a Halloween party of any sort, it's always on the Saturday before
Right.
Halloween, unless Halloween falls on a Friday or Saturday.
Right.
It's always the week before.
It's always the last
I work in the bar
weekend.
industry. It's always that
It's
way.
always just about
So
the
this-
last weekend of
this
the
doesn't
of
affect
October.
anything.
Yeah, it does. It really doesn't.
No.
They
So
just
it's
want to
stupid.
do it officially.
Right. Yeah,
on the
of course,
books.
Of course. Which gets government involved. Even though it's corporations starting it,
Yeah.
it would make government being involved in it.
I don't like any
So
of it.
we're all against it,
Yeah,
right? Thumbs
yeah.
down?
Thumbs down.
down.
And
Fuck
you
you.
guys.
Yeah, no thanks.
Fuck your.
Don't move Halloween. Don't fuck with my Halloween.
Fuck your homeowners association Halloween party. we don't want to go.
That's probably what it fucking all went to.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't be having Halloween on a Thursday. I got to park on the street.
we got-
Don't tell me what to do, Dad.
I don't want kids walking around my neighborhood
Right.
during the week.
I agree.
Let them
right.
walk around on the weekends like every other red-blooded American.
Who did you
Nice.
just channel? You just
I don't
channeled
know.
the president.
I don't know.
I'm not a crook. That's
I'm
what you
not
just
a
Nixon.
Nixon. That's who you just channeled.
Red
I was trying to
blooded
figure that
Americans.
out.
Blooded American.
All right. So now to
Remedy
Johnny's top 13
Top
vampire
13.
movies.
Vampire.
Let's do it.
All right. So first up, we are going to have Nosferatu. 1922, bro. Silent film. So they haven't even started with sound yet in these movies.
This is one thing I like about yours. You go way back.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going. Sorry.
So this is the first essential vampire movie you have to see. Look at how fucking creepy this shit is. Dude, there was no sound in they haven't even invented sound, but they have this shit.
Right.
So this is one of those ones I would say, turn the lights off by yourself, make some popcorn, and just like absorb it.
He totally looks creepy.
How
as fuck.
creepy is this shit?
Yep.
So this is an essential Johnny Doe recommended vampire movie.
you know they use like asbestos and shit to create
Sure.
that makeup, right?
Absolutely.
Like, he died of cancer immediately.
Sure.
Like, I was
It made it way better. Now, the first official Dracula,
the iconic pipe.
yeah,
organs.
and the first horror movie in sound was Dracula.
He's got the
1931, bro.
the light over his eyes. I love that,
Bela
dude.
Lugosi, bro. This is my favorite vampire. I was wearing the shirt on our live stream earlier, actually. So, yeah, this is the greatest. So, this is based off of your whole Bram Stoker's Dracula book, the whole thing.
Okay.
This is what you need. If you haven't seen these first two movies, then you shouldn't be fucking with vampire movies at all. Like, at all. So, this is, I would say, essential. All right, let's see what else we got here. So, now we got one that you guys have seen.
All right.
The Lost Boys.
Essential
Oh
to the
my god! I didn't
collection.
realize that
Yeah.
was, it's fucking Ted, dude.
Yes.
19. Oh, yeah, from Bill
Bill
and
and
Ted's.
Ted.
Yeah,
Yeah, there he is.
1987, bro.
Biting into the head.
Yeah, dude. Do you remember when you guys saw this shit back in the day?
Dude,
how awesome it
seriously,
was?
yeah.
You get the Frog Brothers hunting down the vampires at the comic book store. They're like running their operation. Truth,
Dude.
justice, and the American way.
Wait, and it was
My
Corey
God.
Feldman, right?
Yeah. So we have Keith Sutherland, Corey Haim, and Corey McPhilman. So like,
Corey McFeldman.
yeah, no, Feldman, not McPhilman.
Corey Feldman.
So what were you guys gonna say about this? Because you guys like were pretty excited about the Lost Boys.
Well, James Brolin was in that too, wasn't he?
I don't know
Or-
which
no,
character.
no. Wrong guy. Sorry.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
one I
I
definitely
was
need
thinking
to
about
watch.
Weird Science.
I need to watch one again. This one again. There was a newer movie I feel like that came out, and it was actually like an unofficial continuation of Lost Boys.
Well, there's a part 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, is there?
Oh yeah, I own them.
There's
it just-
even a series.
Well, there was.
there's 3 of them.
So there was this movie, and like I remember, fucking Corey Feldman being in there, and like I'd never heard him sound like this before. He was kind of like super.
Yeah,
deep
it's
voice
probably
like this.
it's probably part 3 actually, because that's when he was older.
And he makes up this thing called
Yeah.
the frog juice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
Frog
part 3.
Brothers.
Okay, see, I didn't
Yeah.
realize
Yeah.
that.
I have it. If you ever want to watch it again,
If you-
it's
as soon as
amazing.
you said Frog Brothers, I was
So
like,
I
I've seen this.
I
Like,
haven't seen this in a while, like the part 2, but so for part 1, obviously I've seen that a million times. And part 3, I remember liking it more than liking part 2. Part 2, I felt like the last time I remember seeing it was like, we don't even need this movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but part 3,
Could've skipped it.
it was so shitty, and there was like some nudity and like overly bloody scenes for no reason. But at the same time, it had that like cheesy Frog Brothers shit, and I think the other brother died. And so he's like by
Okay.
himself, like Rambo style, going against him.
Just like in the first one.
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
double
just
check
like
and make
in
sure
real life.
that we're still falling out of the world here. Yeah, we are.
That was one of the most epic monster movies growing
Of the
up.
80s.
Of
Yeah.
the 80s, yeah.
Mhm.
growing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
We have one more
like, even as
that's coming up.
iconic as Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Jason. I think
There's a big
I think-
following with the
yeah,
Lost Boys.
I think the Lost Boys are in a league of their own.
Well, in anyone that's more like leaning punk rocker or psychobilly or anything like that, they're gonna
Right.
like this kind of movie more
Right.
than they're gonna like Freddy.
and it was filmed right in California over
Santa
at
Cruz.
Santa Cruz, California.
Yeah, the Beach Boardwalk.
Yep.
Mhm. Absolutely. All right, so
Been
now
there
let's
many times.
let's continue on.
All right, here we go.
See what we got next for you guys. Fright Night. This is a fucking amazing movie.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, bro. You guys have not seen this movie. You guys are fucking up in life.
Yeah,
this is
a
an amazing
great
movie. That is the neighbor, Marcy Darcy, the
Ha!
neighbor in Married with Children.
Yes, she is.
So she's the hot vampire that you just saw a minute ago with the long
No
hair. Yeah,
way.
same one. Yep, that's
That
her
one.
right there.
oh wow.
Amazing, right?
She cleans up good.
Yep. So you guys need to see this movie. It is a must see, and that came out in 1985.
Okay, I dig that. You know,
So at the
Yeah,
height
I'll
height
tell
of
you if I need
80s
it.
movies, that was one of the.
Now,
the
me and
very
Chris
best.
just watched this week. Black Sunday. What'd you think, Chris?
oh whoa.
It was
1960.
it was definitely iconic. The sets were amazing. The monsters were. The makeup was excellent. I mean, for what they were given and the technology that they had then.
This is
to-
1960,
yeah,
bro.
to create some of the
Special effects?
Yeah, special effects is
Look at
out of
this.
this world.
Oh,
yeah.
bro.
So there's some like 9-inch spikes inside that mask, and he just
All right,
pounded
pause
it onto
this
their
one
face.
for us.
You got it.
So yeah, there was that one scene. Me and Chris were watching it, and remember when the eyes in her corpse were like imploding or whatever? They were like floating up.
Yeah,
and
they were
like,
like kind of.
we were like, what?
Yeah, loosely in there, but they looked real, like they were underneath the skeleton.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was
they put some
amazing.
time in on that one to
Yeah,
make
definitely.
that special effect.
And then we were talking about the sets. The sets were like
Epic.
Yeah, they were epic. I mean,
Castles in
just
the
like
crypt.
stonework and crypts,
Mhm.
and I mean, just like
Big
the
giant bat.
It looked like the sewers, or
He shot the bat. Remember that?
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Dude, that movie was pretty good.
Yeah. So she's basically a vampire witch who gets burned at the well, she was gonna get burned at the stake, but they ended up putting that mask on her, and
Right.
they basically took that mallet and they slammed it on her
Right.
face.
The mask
which
was
you guys
supposed to
just
keep
saw.
her
Yeah.
imprisoned in
Right.
her, in it, or something.
And then they
like
had they had her buried with a window in her coffin, with a crucifix above it so she could see it.
That was funny, dude.
And then the idiot broke it.
Like, you put a piece of glass there for people to...
That sounds smart.
That was kind of like the only dumb part of the movie.
That was the best part of it.
But it was
Shut
good.
up, Chris.
It was a great movie. It was a really good movie.
All right, let's
Fucking
continue.
funny.
Anyways, it's a must-see. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Would you not say that? It's a must-see.
It's a really great
All right.
movie.
Monster Squad!
Monster Squad.
Now, this isn't really
Kick
a
'em in the
straight
nuts.
vampire fucking movie, but it's basically the Goonies fights these guys, the Universal Monsters. And it's amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys are once again fucking up on life.
Is this a Universal
Stephen
movie?
King rules, bro. No, it's not. No. So basically, they have a bunch of kids that are like in a monster club, and they basically find out there's some strange happenings going on throughout the town. This also came out in 1985, and they basically start going like, "Wait, this isn't supposed to happen. Whatever's not supposed to happen."
Is that
They
Alan
get-
Rickman?
They all get together, and then they go fight against
The Monsters.
the monsters. There's the and he's the leader. So I included it in this because he's a
And he's not
He's
like
the
a
ringleader.
He's not a cool fucking vampire either. He's a dickhead.
yeah, he's the like asshole leader guy. He's creepy in it. And there's a scene where the little girl gets like scared in real life, and they kept it in the movie. And he's like says something about "you little bitch" to the little girl, and she's screaming, and it's actually legit if you watch the director's cut.
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
amazing. It's a must-see.
Frighten children.
Last man on fucking earth.
Vincent
Your
Price.
fucking I Am Legend ripped this shit off, and Omega Man in the 70s also. This is the last guy on Earth. There's a plague that happened and hit the United States, or actually hit the obviously the Earth, but basically everyone became these zombie/vampires. So he goes around and he stakes them in the daytime, and he hunts them down, drives around. In this one, he's calling out every day. He calls out on the radio, "Is there any survivors?"
Holy
blah, blah,
shit,
blah.
exactly
It's
like
exactly
I Am
the
Legend.
same fucking movie, except for Vincent Price is the OG. Right here in this scene, he's burning the bodies in a pit. So he'd kill them, collect them, throw them in a pit, and then burn them at the dump.
But was he saving that bacon, though?
He was also a scientist
Okay.
who was trying to get a blood thing to cure it.
I'm saving the bacon.
Here we go again. So back to like Bela Lugosi's Dracula. This is now fast forwarding to what year is this? Let me give you the year. It is 1958. Christopher Lee in England. Now he's doing the exact same story. So the
They got
Nos
color back then? That's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Technicolor, bro.
Wow.
So you have Nosferatu and we have Dracula with Bela Lugosi in 31. This one in 1958 was the first one in color, and it was the first time they really were introducing blood like
Holy
on
shit,
a high-end
dude.
level, bro.
Hold up,
Peter
hold up.
Cushing. That's Peter Cushing
So who is who?
from Star Wars.
Yeah,
For
that,
you
that was
fucking-
him, right?
For you fucking normies.
I'm sorry. I have to go back.
Yeah, for you fucking normies.
I am a fucking normie.
Yeah. There we go.
That was him. That
He's
was
the vampire hunter, bro.
fucking Emperor or General Markov.
Yeah. Well, he's
right there.
That's Van Helsing, just so you know.
That's badass. It's even
Yeah,
more badass.
Exactly. So we have him, and anyways, this is also based off your Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it's an amazing fucking movie. Like, it is totally creepy. This is the first vampire movie that really creeped me out as a kid, actually.
All right.
He's scary as fuck.
I dig it. That's fucking bad. I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
your
you're
flow
good, bro.
there.
No,
I
you're
had
totally
to.
good. No, you're good. Near Dark.
Near Dark.
They never once in this 1987 movie say they're vampires.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton. We basically that whole
Oh, that guy.
right.
I don't know his name. but I know.
What's his name? Lance Hendrickson and Janet Goldstein are all part of the Aliens cast. So the second movie to Alien. I'm sorry. Right there. That's the whole cat. Like they were all in it. She was the tough chick with the machine gun.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
With
so-
the bandana
Yep.
headband.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That-
hell
that-
yeah.
so
Fuck yeah.
All this is a year after that movie came out. So yeah, once again they never say they're vampires. It's like a farm boy guy like gets seduced by this like blonde chick, who's a drifter. He gets bit and then turns into a vampire. That Winnebago earlier where you saw the RV pull up, they like kidnap him and try to bring him into their family because he's now bit. So it was a great one, awesome movie, love it. Came out the same. Pause it real quick. It came out the same exact year of The Lost Boys, but it didn't get the press that Lost Boys does.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Near Dark,
You would think with the actors that were in there who had just come out of
real actors, like
who
like
just
really
came
good.
out of a huge major
blockbuster
motion picture.
Yeah. It would have got more press.
Yeah, but
Nope, didn't. Now I will tell you this, in my personal opinion,
but Lost
that
Boys
holds
is
up.
iconic, dude.
That's fine. I don't care about that. But what I'm saying is that holds up to the test of time. Lost Boys does not. Lost Boys has got like some bodybuilder weirdo with a mullet blowing on a saxophone on the beach singing, and it looks horrible.
Yep.
And the music, in my opinion, is horrible, and it's very dated. If you watch Near Dark,
Well, yeah, it was a totally
it is
80s.
so good. Like it holds up
Yeah.
right now. And the Cramps, the band The Cramps,
Right.
are in the soundtrack. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but Corey Hart was in
I don't give a fuck what
was in the Lost Boys, man.
and
Thou shalt
The freestyle
not
motocrosser?
kill.
I rest my case.
Dude,
That's Carrie Hart. I was
That
joking.
song is so garbage.
Corey Hart is epic, dude.
No. Anyways, moving right along. 30
Look at
Days
my
of Night,
Hashtag
boys.
Corey
Here we
Hart.
go.
30 Days of Night in 2007. Are you guys kidding me? Have you seen this movie?
Yes.
Have you seen this movie?
Oh, God, dude.
Jamie?
No, I have
Then
not.
you
Yeah.
are fucking up at life again.
This was a
No, but
really,
I like that dude.
Josh?
The dude that's in the cell.
Josh Hartman is the... Oh, okay. I don't know what that guy's name is, but yeah, he's in a lot of shit.
He's in Lone Survivor.
He's a great... Yes.
Do you remember?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
last one of the
Yeah.
SEALs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie,
Oh
like,
yeah, Josh Hart. Okay, cool.
these vampires show up, and all of a sudden, just right away, just start laying into people. There was no like relax time, no downtime, no wait time. These vampires show up and immediately just start slaughtering everybody.
When is it's? They're in Alaska,
Go on,
right?
pause
Yeah.
it.
All right. They're in Alaska,
All right.
right? Where when the sun does go down for fucking.
So, in Alaska, basically 30 days go dark. So what ends up happening in the beginning of the movie is you start seeing cell phones getting burned, sled dogs getting taken out. Every line of communication from a helicopter or anything is getting cut off from the real world. Then what ends up happening is the vampires, now that everything's been taken care of for them, they go through the town and clear it out. And that's basically what it is. So it's a great movie. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, you guys are fucking up. Like, this is seriously an essential movie. Josh fucking, what's his name? Harnett. He fucking was in, what, Sin City. We got Black Hawk Down and Pearl Harbor are like his main movies that he was in. I wish I knew the actor that you're talking about because he's the only other actor, in my opinion, Jamie, that does stand out.
He's
so
amazing. Creepy, dude.
He always
He's
plays
so
a really
good.
cool tweaker kind of weird
He nails
white
it,
trash
dude.
guy or
He's
some
just
shit.
he's that I don't know what this is, but like I feel like I could play that character really well just because. Well, for one, like I look the part, like I'm a skinny fucking white guy, and like
He's only 5'8".
there's that. Well, right,
I remember because I looked him up, but I didn't write it down.
he's little,
5'8" or 5'9".
but I'm just saying, like I don't know, I like what he was doing, how he's like he just has this weird.
He is creepy as
It's
fuck.
like you ever watch a Marilyn Manson video or a Tool video? How how they make their actors do this certain
Right.
specific thing with their
Right.
hands and arms. It's like like you can be taught that, right? It's just choreography.
well,
That's all it is.
when he's locked up in the cell.
That's
and
what
they're
I'm talking about.
to him, dude.
And I don't remember what he says, but he says something along the
So
lines of
good.
like fucking like they're gonna come. Like he makes it like
Yeah.
he's like he
How
knows
have you not watched this?
he knows that he's dead already. You know what I mean? So he's like,
I love
"You
how he's
all are all
fascinated with it,
fucked."
but he hasn't watched it.
Yeah. Me, are you talking about me?
Yeah.
I have seen
Oh, I
it.
thought
I've
you
seen
said
it.
you
No,
didn't.
I've,
you've seen it.
I've seen it, but a long time ago. I don't remember the whole thing.
Okay.
I remember that scene specifically. It
It's a
stuck
great
out to
movie.
me.
All right. Salem's
Salem's
Lot, bro. Have you seen
Yeah.
this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So 1979, Stephen King based
You-
movie, but it was 4 TV came out. This kid is creepy as fuck. This is like your Nosferatu type vampire. And basically what happens is a young horror fan and another dude, I can't remember, was he a reporter? I can't remember what he was because it's been a minute since I've seen like the whole
Fuck,
movie
dude.
through. Oh yeah. Anyways, they basically align together to go fight off these vampires in the city, and they keep noticing people keep getting whacked, basically, or bitten, basically.
Right.
It's a creepy one. I watched
Yeah.
part of it this last week. Stake Land. All right, so now we're going to a newer era here. So 2010, you guys can usually find this on Netflix and any of the free services or slightly paid for services.
Right.
Basically, it's a vampire hunter in an apocalyptic kind of vampire takeover of the world, and they basically the guy's name's Mister, real original, but he basically ends up training that kid who you just saw, and as a vampire hunter, and they're trying to get up north to get out where it's colder, where the vampires supposedly aren't. That kid was creepy in the movie. Anyways, great fucking movie. I like it especially for a newer movie. It was really good.
Right. It looks a little bit different.
We have one more after this, then the last 13th. And by the way, none of these were in order, just so you guys know. The last one is Daylight's End. This was filmed in 2016. There's a lot of tactical gun shooting guys and training in this movie.
Nice.
It's a newer movie, obviously, because it's 2016. But I wanted to include it because I enjoyed watching it.
Wait, you showed this to me, right?
Yeah. It's a fun movie.
It's an independent movie, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know, dude. It's another vampire apocalypse type thing. So fuck the zombies. We got real if they're gonna run fast, they should be vampires.
I remember liking that. I remember liking it. It was cool.
Yeah, it was a fun one, man.
That was one where that broad was in the freezer or whatever.
Yes, at the beginning.
Yeah. No, that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he had the fucking M14 with the suppressors.
Yeah, the SOCOM.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So it's a pretty good one, man. And
That was
I
cool.
would say this is my last one to watch. That's like an essential. Yeah, I like
The
how it's
bent
bent.
ass
Yeah,
suppressor,
exactly.
yeah.
The film fucked up. And there's your boy, same actor from Near Dark and all the other movies.
Yeah, Lambden or Lance, whatever the fuck, yeah.
The mentions that I'm going to mention, so this is the end of my little list here. My mentions are going to be definitely Blackula.
Oh!
If you guys haven't
Kenny, where are you?
If you guys haven't seen Blackula 1 and 2, you need to watch. It's a great. I'm not joking.
Or go back and
This
watch
is-
episodes 1 and 2.
No. I'm telling you right now, Blackula is a great fucking movie. Check it out. Blade, another great one. Underworld, another great one. And Dusk Till Dawn is another good one. It's more campy, but I mean, it's a good one.
Tarantino, though, you know, he's in there.
And
That's
then
cool.
obviously Let Me In, which I already talked about. So Let Me In.
No, you talked about Let Me In on the live stream.
Yeah,
maybe you
that's-
should talk about it.
Let Me In, basically, just you have a kid who is a female vampire,
Spoiler
and you
alert.
have a guy that's kind of like a father figure to her, you think, but he's basically taking care of her, and that's basically what it is.
So
Right.
yeah,
I like it.
Well, what I loved about it was that you can what it was is that it's a, again, spoiler alert, it's a romantic interest with a boy who looks the same age as this girl vampire, right? But then he grows up and he progresses through the natural stages of life like an adult man mortal does, and then he ends up having to be her caretaker, right? So so the entire time for this man, this boy that becomes a man, it's a love interest.
Man, bear, pig.
Right? But then as he gets older, his uses to the vampire who looks like a young girl change from romantic to
She looks like a 12-year-old.
caretaker, right?
Yeah.
Like he can drive a car, he can get a job to provide income.
Kill.
He can basically, they're all, dude.
It's a great movie.
That movie's fucking tight, dude. Straight up.
And then they
Yeah,
have
it's a good
the
movie.
I think it was Sweden was the Let the Right One In, but it's all subtitle.
Yeah, because it was originally done overseas, right? Sweden?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was
It
fucking
was a
tight.
great
And,
movie.
what's-
Yeah, it was a
I've
really
seen
good
them both.
movie.
I like them both.
What's her face? The girl who played Kick-Ass.
Yeah, it is the same chick.
Or
I
Kick-Ass.
don't know what
She
her name
played
is.
Hit Girl in Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
She's a badass. Anyway, she's gonna be great. Yeah, it's
It was
great.
good.
Cool movie. Cool movie.
And the swimming pool scene is amazing. So just pointing that out.
Okay.
All right, so we got some humor here, Jamie.
We do. I got a couple of videos for you guys. Just a couple of them.
And anyone had anything to add with vampire movies, by the way, before we even get into this one? Because, like, we just got my top 13. Is there any that I missed that you guys, maybe I forgot? I don't know. But these are ones that I own. I own all those.
They're not coming to me right now.
I know you were saying Interview with a Vampire, and you were saying a couple others.
but I mean, like all the pertinent vampire movies to me are probably ones you consider stupid, right? Well, except for like Blade,
I wouldn't say stupid. I just
Underworld.
wouldn't say aren't important.
they're not
compared to
classic,
those.
right?
No, not necessarily classic. I mean, Daylight's End is not, obviously. right?
Yeah,
But I would say ones that I would want you to see versus ones that I just don't think. I don't think they held up with the test of time.
I was
or
gonna
whatever.
say, I was gonna say like Underworld would have been like a revolutionary one, but you mentioned
I
that.
mentioned
so,
it. Yeah,
so,
those are the runners-ups. Like,
do you know why I would say that is because they use things that I'd never seen before until Underworld, which was the ultraviolet bullets and the
That was awesome.
and the silver nitrate in the head.
I feel like that might be
Yeah.
debatable because didn't Blade pull some of that crap in there? At the,
Yeah,
on
he
the-
had silver nitrate.
I don't know what
Yeah.
years those ran because the
he
sequels,
did.
not the first one.
I don't know that he
Yeah.
did. I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't remember Blade ever killing
have to go
anyone,
back and
any
watch.
vampire with a gun and then burning up. It was only when he hit them with the bayonet because it was a silver bayonet, or it was when he
think he
pulled
did.
out that spike and he would stab them and they would
Because
explode.
I'm just going off the sequels because the first
No.
one, no, you're right, but I think
No,
in
I
the
think-
sequels they did.
No, maybe in the second and third. I think you're
The
right.
second
But
one
I'm not
they
sure.
did.
Like this is
Yeah,
just
oh,
Second one they did silver nitrate bullets.
He did. You know what it is? I remember too. Specifically, his pistol is actually a Mac 10 with a fucking
Yeah.
barrel kit on it that
Of
has
course.
that underslung.
Right.
It looks like an axe blade, but it's a bayonet.
right.
But you're right. He was shooting people with that, and they were bursting into
Burning,
flames and
yeah.
shit. So
Right.
yeah, so he did do a silver.
Yeah.
I don't think it was silver nitrate.
Okay, I'll give you one though that I haven't seen before. When she jumped off, Celine, right? Is that her name?
Yep, Celine.
When she jumped off the building and then like right before she hits, she slows down and then walks away. Never saw that before.
So she jumps down and
Yeah.
just is like, and she just like her
then
her
just
knees
plants
go
it,
down,
yeah.
and then like she just pops
Walks
back
away.
up. Yeah, like it was
Never
nothing.
seen that before.
That was badass.
So there's one for you.
They actually did really good on the wire
Right.
work on that.
I
think.
agree.
Because you have to let the wires down far enough so that she can actually retract her legs.
The lichens running on the walls and the ceiling. Never seen that before.
That was pretty sick.
It could be existing before. I just never seen it before.
Werewolves? No, fuck no.
Just saying.
Not doing what they
That
were doing.
scene was nuts,
That
bro.
was
When
different.
they're running down that hallway.
Yeah.
At that like
And then she
hotel or
shoots
whatever.
through the floor.
Or apartment. Oh yeah. Well, that's been done.
She got the.
That was cool.
What
It
were
still
those?
was cool.
What were those though, Johnny? You know what those were that she was using?
What, the guns?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Oh,
Were they
dude.
Berettas?
Fuck yeah, Beretta M93R with
Okay.
compensator.
'Cause
I
they were-
fucking hate them too.
'cause they weren't Glock.
Yeah, I hate them too. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. So you
I
can
just
actually-
try to remember. I think they were.
No,
Berettas.
you go back and you watch it. It's
Yeah. You're all, wah,
it is
wah.
it's 3-round burst. You watch it. She goes.
That's kinda cool.
So the M93R is
That's
not
kinda
full
cool.
automatic.
But
It's
that's
kind of
cool though.
burst.
That they
kept it
actually stayed
accurate.
true.
Yeah, they kept
I
it
like
accurate.
that. Okay, that's good. I didn't notice.
But
that.
you have to remember too, like they are kind of limited based on the firing mechanisms of that gun because it's going to fire blanks, right? So it has to act
if
like the
they
real
went Glock,
firearm
they
does.
wouldn't have.
Well, Glock 18Cs that
With
has been like
fucking 33 round
Yeah.
bags, bro.
Go all around.
I feel like the waters of wolves and vampires got mixed up a little bit in the lore.
Okay, explain.
In the lore, like silver was never like was never the was never part of the original vampire way to kill a vampire. It was
Yeah, you're right.
I agree.
That was.
Did they do that with the vampires though? I
yeah,
thought that was
silver nitrate.
Yeah, silver. Well, because you were talking about Blade, remember? And Blade only fought vampires.
But I think that was. Oh, okay.
so he's shooting them.
well,
and
we're
then-
jumping now 2 movies though.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
No, but I'm saying like overall.
So not Underworld.
Like,
you're talking Blade.
kind of like even Underworld. They
He
kind
means
of
the
got
lore
mixed.
in
the
general.
whole lore. Yeah,
the lore.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know.
Hollywood took too many
That
liberties.
what do you, so you're
with-
saying, Chris? Let's just clarify. You're saying that like vampires of the typical lore are not able to be killed by silver.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
Right. And we can
Right.
all across the board we agree on that. Silver
agree.
wasn't like a
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
that vampires were normally.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a wolf thing.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
werewolf.
That was kind of a liberty I think the Blade franchise sort of took for themselves. You know what I mean? Because he had that 12 gauge shotgun that he put those fucking the silver spikes in,
Oh yeah.
and then he had them all on that bandolier where he used them and stick them in people, and they would
But
explode.
I feel
and shit.
like that kind of makes sense, especially if Blade's the one doing it. So it wasn't Underworld; it was actually Blade. Because like Blade fights against. If anyone knows anything about Blade, he fights against like vampires #1, but he fights against all spiritual
like
Yeah.
all paranormal
anything.
things.
So
yeah,
he's
yeah.
trying to cover his bases, right? Like they're
Well,
going to be dipped in garlic, holy
Well,
water, the whole 9
Right,
yards. Because
right.
he goes after spirits. and
He's a
shit.
mystic. He's
yeah,
a mystic.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He goes after all
Yeah.
of them.
So one thing
His
I'm
number
gonna-
one job is vampires.
One thing I'm going to say to you, Johnny, and this is kind of maybe Chris, maybe this helps like explain it. This is in my head because I do a lot of like movie theory in my head. Like I'm
Right.
watching a movie and like what I do to try to like justify like bad lore or bad theatrics. I'm like, oh, maybe they just did this and that's how it makes me feel
Right.
better
That's
about
kind
how
of
it
what
came
I
out,
do.
right?
Like kind of fill in the blanks.
So
a
in
little
my
bit,
head,
yeah.
I'm like, well, he is okay. He's got a silver spike, right? And he's stabbing the vampires and he's killing them. Well, he is stabbing them in the heart
with the spike.
with a spike, right?
A stake, yeah.
Now, I mean, does it need to be made of wood to kill a vampire? I don't know. He's still piercing their heart and they're dying.
But if you watch any and I know what you're
like
saying.
the original lore.
But if you
was-
watch
yeah.
any of the vampire movies, they all slightly take different things. Like sometimes the cross doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Sometimes the holy water doesn't mean anything. Sometimes the garlic doesn't mean anything.
right.
It just kind of depends on what.
Yeah,
they're going
I
for.
feel like every franchise kind of creates its own lore loosely based on the classics, right? So I think that like in my head, the directors or the producers, whatever.
But
they're like,
people watching Blade though are gonna think it's just a vampire hunter. But if you actually read this comics, he's fighting against all unholy, unnatural, spiritual.
Right.
Stuff.
like Constantine.
So, but what
exactly.
I was getting at though is that like I think that you need to focus in the Blade world for that lore. You need to focus on less on the material being used to pierce the heart of a vampire and more on the fact that the heart is being pierced, and it doesn't really matter what you're using. That's the ultimate death for a
Right.
vampire is if you pierce their heart.
Right.
We had a ghost behind me.
Did we?
On the
You saw
podcast.
that? Nice. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Who's got anything?
I think we're ready for the comedy right now.
Okay, let's fucking bring it in. I got a
We got
couple
a
good
little,
ones for you guys.
little humor here.
Yeah, I got one. Hang on. So I think I brought up one. Give me 1 second here. Nope. I think
There's
going
going
to
to be a lot of editing.
It's
on
going to be
this
this one. It's going to be this one. We're going to do this one first. So turns out I was on Reddit the other day. This poor son of a bitch. This guy, he's just hanging out. He's on Reddit, and he's chilling, and he's trying to get rid of some ants. Is the original post? What I think he's trying to get rid of, and Johnny, you watched this with me earlier. I think he's trying to get rid of some sort of subterranean rodent,
Right.
like a goat.
That's
Or
what
a
I
goat,
think.
a gopher,
A gopher
Yeah,
or a
goat.
mole.
Subterranean from hell.
Subterranean
Giant
hell.
ants.
Subterranean goat. Okay, so here we go. So he has an idea in his head. You know, I mean, you can't really tell what's going on.
These poor beagles.
What he's doing is he's got some matches.
This is all bad.
Okay, so you can only imagine that maybe there's some sort of a
I thought it was a bug bomb.
fuel source that he's
Gas.
trying to ignite. And you can just imagine how pissed off your wife would be if you did this to your backyard. I can only imagine.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
The dogs just fucking
my
bounced.
Dude, this dog
God.
didn't give a fuck. It's like chilling, whatever.
I think the dog is deaf for life now. But
Yeah, he fucking ruined his backyard.
wow.
all his 5 feet of lawn.
He's gonna have to go through that with a rototiller. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Fix that up. You're gonna need some
Poor
new
dog.
sod there.
I wonder
champ.
if he got the rodent.
Poor doggies.
We don't know.
I
We don't know.
Fuck. His
Oh,
whole
man.
yard.
Yeah, the only other short, fun thing I have for you guys is this poor damn son of a bitch crossing his legs. And
Wow.
here it is. So we'll just go real quick. Here it is. Oh, yeah.
The boys.
See, that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All right.
feel that, man.
Not so slick after all.
I feel that.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't ever done it before, that's called rolling a nut. It's when you're sitting down, you go to cross the old legs, and the boys don't want to fucking agree
felt
with
that
whatever
here.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I felt it.
I know. I got a little. I feel like I might throw up a little bit.
I
Actually,
feel like we had another video, but that's cool.
Go from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tyrone?
Are you going trick or treating?
Nah, probably.
You can't be sneaking up on brothers like that, dude.
Fucking
Oh
right
my
cross
God.
to the face, bro.
Dude, he hit that guy so hard.
Damn.
You can't be sneaking up on brothers like that.
I love it.
Like fucking. Oh my
I
God,
know.
that kid showed up with two.
That was a
black
little
eyes the
surprise
next
for you
day.
guys because it wasn't announced. So I just want to tell you guys that was a
Bam!
little last fun video before the break.
He showed up with two black eyes the next day. That guy, he got fucked up.
Or
That dude
three.
nailed him.
Could
You
be
see
3
that?
black guys.
Couple.
That guy
Couple
got
few.
laid out. All right, cool. So we're gonna go back for the break. We'll be back and see you guys soon. And back with
We're gonna have some tacos.
half number 2. And we're gonna have some tacos. Oh.
Taco Bell.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back for the second half of episode 61.
We moved a little bit.
We did.
Yeah.
Jamie had to cut out. We're just going to go ahead
Finish
and
it up for you
wrap
guys.
it up for
Second half, Chris and
you
John.
guys.
All right.
You guys know you love us anyway when we're together like this.
Ew.
You dirty
It's always way
bastards.
more comfortable.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
All kinds of elbow room. Man, you and I could even dance here if we wanted to.
Do we have do you have shout outs?
Shout outs. Dun, 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 dun.
Do you have some?
I don't. You know, shout out to my son. Shout out to my son's dog, Milo. He's not feeling too well right now. So
Oh, puppy.
yeah. So shout out to them too. Shout out to my wife, and that's about it.
All right. Shout out to Steven, John, Andy, Ian, and what up to Kenny, Aaron.
Kenny? What's up? Jamie, what's up?
What up, Bo? Any other anything else going on?
No, I'm just really excited about what we have coming up for people, how we're trying to create something new and bring them more information, do like some thorough research and actually come up with some really cool content for our freedom
Podcast,
fighters.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. All right. But I feel like the number one thing right now that needs to be discussed is Taco Bell.
Taco Bell's in the news again.
Yeah. Because, well, they are in the news again, so let's go with that since you brought it that way. So Taco Bell this week released a article saying that they found metal shavings in their meat. And so people were all losing their shit all week. Oh, this is why I don't eat a Taco Bell, blah, blah, blah. Well, they did their job. They had the complaints. They caught it, and they stopped it, which any fast food company
it was
would
a major recall, right? They got rid of all the bad.
It was
tainted
2,000 something pounds, if I remember correctly reading it.
And the thing is, like working in like the warehouse industry and in like shipping, receiving stuff. I've seen all that kind of stuff. They have everything packaged and marked, and if
they can trace it back.
Yeah, they could easily trace it back
right away,
super quick. So
by date and location, and whatever.
Absolutely, where it's going, where it's headed, like even like who the driver of the truck is that's carrying the product. So I mean, they jumped on it right away, put that fire out, and then they countered with some other really great news about.
Right. Well, I've countered.
Johnny's countering.
The podcast is countering.
We are countering.
So we always hear
here comes the counter.
Exactly. So we always hear that, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is the reason why I don't eat there." I'm like, "Well, actually, technically, this is the time to eat at a fast food restaurant.
Right.
It doesn't even matter which one it is. But if anything ever happens and they get recalls, then they're going to step up their standards. So it's actually a smarter time to eat.
Yeah.
Now,
and it's good business for them because you don't want to go back to a place where you constantly get sick, right?
Exactly. So now we're going to highlight the watch this.
Taco Bell seasoned beef is 88%, 100% USDA grade.
Yes.
Premium real beef.
Right. And then the 12% contains
soy, spices,
water,
and oats.
So when people say, because this is what we always hear, people will say straight up that Taco Bell's meat is fake meat.
Right, and it's not.
And that just shows you there. It's
88%.
And if you go with
100% USDA grade.
I like that logic.
Premium.
Right. But what the thing is that like people always say that, but if you go and look at like all the other different their competitors,
right,
like their shit is that or less.
Right.
So like when people are saying they're fake meat, it's like no, they're not.
Listen, we already told you.
Yeah,
Taco Bell is the
science, bro.
It is the most nutritious.
Yes.
It is the
most deliciousest.
They use premium.
Yes. Yeah.
Grade beef.
100%.
100%. 88%.
No. It's 100% grade A meat.
Yeah,
inspected.
Yeah.
But then it's 88% of
Right,
that
'cause
is
there's
the actual
12%
beef.
of-
Because
there's
there's oats, soy, and
because
water.
there's 12%.
Oats, soy, and water, bro.
Dude, that's goodness to me. Like I will take. Look, I'll make it healthy.
The soy is the
I'll
worst
make this
part.
I'll make this healthy. Watch.
Go.
I can take oats
Right?
and
Oatmeal.
spices and water,
Pumpkin spice.
microwave it. Boom! I got a meal
Bada
right
bing,
there.
bada boom.
And then just take that and throw it in some meat, throw some spices on it.
I agree.
Bam!
Yeah.
You got Taco Bell. You know,
You just throw a taco
add that
shell in
soy
there.
boy shit in there, and you're
Yeah.
all, you know,
I like it.
yeah. It's
So I feel like we just handled that. Like people, how many times have you heard that though? Like, I mean, come on, guys.
yeah.
It's not fake meat, bro.
Yeah,
You're fake news.
yeah. You're
You say Taco Bell's got fake meat, you're fake news.
hey, consumer, just consume, would you? Man, I was wearing my ANCAP shirt at the
I know. That was amazing.
at the Pumpkin Festival,
That was awesome.
and oh my God, dude,
what happened?
there must have been 2 or 3 times people wanted to say something. I could just tell that they wanted
They knew what it was,
to
but they
say
didn't
something.
say
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Well, you're at a big event.
Because there was fucking sheriffs walking around
Right.
with the ARs.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, like I said, there's 200. What did I say earlier? There was 200,000 that go through
Right,
that during.
right.
I think it's a 2-day event,
2-day event, yeah.
and so
Yeah,
there's 200,000. So 100,000 a day is basically what you know.
And it's a free event. You can walk right in. It doesn't cost anything to walk around. You know, it costs a little bit to look at pumpkins or
sure.
participate in some of the events that are going on.
Mhm.
Like there was a pumpkin carving contest while we were there. It was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, it was crazy seeing those sheriffs walking around, and it wasn't just 2 or 3 of them. There must have been at least 5 to 7, I would say.
Yeah, an event like that, I would say that
Mhm.
sounds about right because it's a small town.
And they had first responders like EMTs there walking around.
On standby.
Like
yeah.
they weren't they were on duty, but they were just patrolling.
Mhm.
You know, just in case stuff goes down.
More eyes and ears.
Right,
too.
right. So that was weird seeing the EMTs walking around. They didn't have any equipment on them. They were just, you know, if something goes down or if somebody gets heat stroke or whatever, then they'll be right there to pick them up.
How was the weather? Because we were joking about that earlier.
Actually, the weather was fucking beautiful. Yeah, it was along the coast. It was overcast, and then that kind of burned off, and it stayed foggy most of the day. But it was like clear skies. It was total like October pumpkin weather.
Right.
Yeah,
like
it was
the
so nice.
perfect fall weather.
Yeah.
It's warm in the day, cold at night.
Yeah, and then the ocean was right there. It wasn't too windy. It started to pick up a little bit at the end. Well, we went to go see a lighthouse. But after
Which
that,
was in the pictures.
yeah,
That was in-
I was in the pictures. I think we scrolled through them really quick.
Yeah, they were earlier.
Yeah. We stopped at that lighthouse, and that used to be a whaler's point between here and
Whaler's View.
Whaler's View. It was
Make up some shit.
Yeah, no, it was between here and Half Moon Bay. So
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So along the way, we stopped and we walked this. It's like a historic landmark. Like the residents around the area voluntarily like donated money to save this lighthouse or whatever. And that area had been used for whalers. Like it was an actual like place for whalers to dock. That's why they had the lighthouse there. And
Hashtag docking, look it up.
yeah, always look up docking when
Yeah,
we talk
always.
about it. And it was cool.
Yeah, and it's cool because they have that shit like so that's more up north, obviously, right?
Right.
Like you said, it was like
There's 12 lighthouses on the coast of California.
oh, that's a good little information. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dude,
The only part I don't like is driving that close to the coast. Then I have to bring the AR, the tanks,
because of the water threat.
the F-16.
Because of the water threat.
Yeah, because of the water
yeah,
threat.
sure. That makes
So,
sense.
You know,
Sharks could, you
and
never know.
I was within a mile of the ocean, and that's really rare. So I brought out
It is very rare.
all the protection, even a body condom.
You double wrapped it. Just to drive by the ocean. You
Yeah.
never know, dude.
You never know.
Those seaborne fucking
Fucking
parasites.
tsunamis. I mean,
Sure.
you got to be prepared for everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
what if sharks grow fucking wings?
You heard it here first. That could be
I'm
the
just
next
saying.
Sharknado, bro.
Yeah.
You never
You
know.
know, sharks with fucking
What
wings.
if they're like bat wings, like giant bat wings?
Yeah, like
for the
dirty
Halloween?
ass bat wings.
All right. So anyway, all right, we'll bring you guys to this. We're going to talk about the Addams Family here for a second. So I got a little video, guys, for you. And Chris, did you watch this show when you were a kid?
I did. I remember it clearly.
So this show like came out, and when this show came out, man, it was like 1 week apart from Munsters. So what happened was when they started, so it originally started out in the I think it was 38. Let me see if I got it right. Yeah, 38. Charles Addams is the artist, and he created the artwork in the New Yorker magazine, and he ran like little comics.
Right.
And so they didn't even have all the backstory dialed down yet, right? So then fast forward into the 60s, like the early 60s.
Right.
I think it was 63. The TV producer was walking by and he saw the comic on a stand that was like a special edition or some shit. And he was like, dude, we should totally do this as a TV show. So they go through the works and everything like that. At the exact same time, their competitors got the wind of it, and then they made the Munsters
created the
to
Munsters.
compete.
Yeah.
Now, the fun fact is they only got released 1 week apart. So Addams Family made a week early debut. That's how fast the
Wow.
Munsters caught up to them.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. We're going to talk about the Munsters next week.
Yeah.
But anyways, getting back to this. So in 1954, so rewinding slightly bit, 1954, they made a comic called The Homebodies, which would surprise me if that's what he found on the newsstand.
Yeah,
and that was a collection of
I think
all.
that's what happened. Like he had that homebody sketch, right?
Well,
For
he
the
had
New Yorker?
so he had all the different comics in the New Yorker, and then he compiled a lot of those, and then had a few new original ones, and he put it in this thing called the Homebodies, and that was in 1954, the collection. So they probably kept printing it.
Right.
So, anyways, like I said earlier, 1963, that's when he came up with the idea, seeing it on a newsstand, and then in 1964 it got released, and it only ran until 1966. So you only had that 2-year window, which is the exact same thing
That happened
as the
to
Munsters. And they both got canceled at that time. And at that time, it was like Batman came out, and that was in
Right.
color.
Right.
So it was kind of like this new, like all the
Right.
kids. Of course, the kids are going to be more attracted
Yeah.
to that. The thing that always stuck out weird about the show and even the Munsters was that they had this like really good like family value kind of thing about their family, but they were like outcast, and it was
Right.
kind of like the
Right.
punk rockers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where
They
they're
were
not
all
fitting
about
in-
their tribe. Like they were all about each other. Like-
exactly.
Yeah, because I remember like the first episode, Wednesday and Pugsley have to go to school. Like some government agency came in and told them,
Right.
you know, they were truant or whatever.
Right.
So they go to school and they start telling about like the history that they're telling in schools.
Oh yeah.
And Gomez Addams flips out and is like, "Oh, I won't have this."
Right.
And he goes down and like,
He's like Trump 22.
yeah, he was so anti-establishment.
Yeah, I like
Gomez Addams just so
Yeah.
like, you know, like, oh, why do the kids need to go to school? They can learn everything here. We have the
Right.
with the greatest teachers.
Well, their house is
their
a
grandmother.
museum. It just in their theme song. It's
it's a museum.
So they already have history there.
Yeah, I mean, so and then they have their uncle who's teaching them stuff. Like,
Professor.
yeah. So I mean, what would be the point of sending our
Homeschool,
kids
bro.
to school? Homeschool.
Homeschool.
Yeah.
Well, we got to need the government, bro.
Yeah, they were totally ANCAP,
So they were
dude.
kind of,
Yeah.
they were totally like anti-establishment,
Mhm.
like, and same with the Munsters. They were just kind of let me do my own thing. I have my own
Right.
family values, no
Yeah.
pun intended, actually, off the movie. But like they had their own family values, and they had their moral code and whatever.
Right.
But they weren't hurting anyone outside of
No,
it. Like
exactly,
it was all
yeah.
voluntary.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
that was another thing that was interesting.
And you know what's funny about
go ahead.
like say Gomez Addams? Okay, so going back to that character, he was they pulled him out of his comfort area
comfort zone, yeah.
to participate in society, right? Like
Right.
so he wasn't going to compromise who he was just to conform to societal values. They only. I mean, he really just he was himself. He was always himself, which was way cool. Yeah.
He was. And another thing that stuck out too is that outside of all the other shows to my memory, because we watched reruns.
Right.
We weren't obviously watching TV. We weren't even born yet in the 64.
Right.
So, but if you look at the way he treated her, he was kissing her arm.
Oh, yeah.
He was
Total
madly
lover.
in love
Oh,
with her.
yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
just not something you saw on TV in that time.
No.
At all.
No.
And they
think
implied
it
there was
made-
a sex life.
Yeah. I think it was okay because they were weird. So that
Sure.
was kind of
Made him, yeah.
I
maybe.
think that's what made that okay.
But I thought
because any other, like the Dick Van Dyke Show couldn't do that at that time.
They never, no one
yeah,
did stuff
yeah.
like that. He always had his hands around her,
Right.
and then was
Or-
always kissing.
Or
on
even
her.
Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball. I mean,
they never did that.
They had separate beds.
They never did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think if I could be wrong, but I feel like the first one that ever did that, I like I said, I could be wrong, in the same bed on TV was the Brady Bunch. I believe. I could be off on my trivia there, but I'm pretty sure it was the Brady Bunch was the first ones, which was later.
70s. Yeah.
So, I mean, come on now. That was
Right.
like the first ones that showed it. I think I could, like I said, I could check it. that's up to you, freedom fighters.
Yeah, take a look. Whatever.
So we have the TV show where we left off. 64 it came out. 66 it ended, and it was in springtime in 66, and it lasted 64 episodes. That is a fucking shit ton of episodes.
That's
for
a lot
2
of fucking episodes,
years,
man.
bro. That's like 5 seasons or 6 seasons of other shows, right?
They
Nowadays.
must have, how many seasons?
64 episodes in 2 years.
32 episodes a year.
What the fuck, right?
Well, there's 52 weeks, so every 2 weeks they were putting out an episode.
Insane, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So then after that, they had a TV film in 1977. So they did that, and I think it was either all of the same actors or
Right.
damn near it. It was really close. Then they came out with the cartoon, which kind of made them popular, and that was in 1973. So that happened actually before that,
Right.
but 1973. And I had that off, obviously, in my order. That only was 16 episodes. So it was a
Okay.
short-lived thing,
Yeah.
whatever. Then they had Addams Family movie in 1991, which is what a lot of
Yeah.
you youngsters will remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was 1991. And that was all new cast, but they kept it all based off of the same story.
And they didn't do a bad job with that.
No, it was fine.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was good.
And they had their follow-up, Addams Family Values, in 93. So 2 years later, they came out with that movie. So those two movies back-to-back,
Right.
like,
That's
I mean,
the MC Hammer movie. Huh?
yeah, I don't know which one he's in one or the other, but yeah, he's in one of
the
them.
second
You're
one.
right, he's in one of them for sure. Also, a little fun fact for you: they had a Michael Jackson song that was supposed to come out in one of the two movies. I can't tell you which one it was. I don't remember, but they pulled it and they didn't put it on the soundtrack
Are you
because he was
serious?
going through all the legal problems
Oh.
with the kid shit.
Damn.
Little fun fact, but you guys can look it all
Damn.
up. This is all up to you. Let's see. So then after 1993, so those two movies were like a smash hit.
Right.
Like, I remember my younger cousins. I remember everyone in that younger age group than me, so now they'd be in their 30s right now.
Right.
They were just obsessed with that. Like, they all loved it, and that's all, yeah.
With the
youngsters.
Addams Family?
Oh,
movie?
yeah, bro.
I just
kids were-
I'll have to tell you
Yeah, go ahead.
off the air, but I saw that movie in theaters. I'll tell you.
Oh, I'm sure that's a good story.
I'll tell you about it later.
Sucks to
Yeah.
be you guys. All right. And I won't
dude.
forget that.
Oh, my God.
All right. So then, which a lot of people know,
Go ahead.
is the newer cartoon, which a lot of the kids would know, same era, 1992 to 93, 21 episodes came out of their cartoon. And that one I do vaguely remember. I don't remember the 1973 version of their
No, I
cartoon
don't
at all,
either.
but I do remember for a short-lived time. And then they replayed it. That's the thing
Right.
always about all these shows and movies. They'd replay them, you know what I mean? Then they had a movie, Addams Family. It was just called Addams Family, and that
Right.
was a straight-to-video movie with Tim Curry was actually Gomez, and
Oh,
which is
that's-
weird.
yeah.
To me, that's a little weird. That's cool that who he is, but I mean, that's a
Yeah,
little
I
weird.
like Tim Curry,
But that's a little
ah.
not really. And that was in 1998, and that was just a spin-off of a TV show that they were doing that they did do, and that TV show was with him as well, and that was 98 to 99. I never saw those.
Really?
I
I
never
never-
saw that movie. I didn't even know about those. When I saw the trailer, because I was looking it up, I was like, oh, I do vaguely remember this. Like when I saw it, and I was like, yeah, that's gonna be whack.
I'm seeing him with like really slick hair,
Yep.
And a really like
And like
thin,
bloated
curly
alcoholic looking body.
Oh yeah.
Like old man alcoholic bodies.
Yeah.
Whether he is or not, I don't know that. But I mean, that's what he looked like.
Yeah.
And then they did
Yeah.
a live musical, The Addams Family. That was the next thing. They also have video games, arcade games. They had academic books, which tripped me out.
Academic
This
books.
is in the run, so I don't know.
Really?
They didn't give me a year, but in the run of from 1938 to current, there's been that.
like
And
Addams Family
academic
themed.
books. I don't know.
Acad-
They didn't give me any more definition than that. But
Wow,
that's what
I'd like
I read.
to see that. I'd like
I
to
would
see
too.
That. Is
That
it
would be-
is it Gomez like teaching people stuff?
I have no
and
idea.
Done in the style of.
I don't know. That was the
Wow.
one thing that stuck out that I
wanna
was
know.
curious about.
I'm gonna do some more research.
Then, of course, just merchandise galore.
right.
Like, there's merchandise of everything.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's something
Shirts,
you can't find.
stickers,
There's nothing you can't
posters.
find with the Addams Family on it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm guaranteed.
Yeah.
You
look
type
on
in
the
an
internet,
Amazon or
yeah,
whatever, and you just type in
you'll find
Addams
it.
Family, whatever the trinket
Right.
is, and it'll pop up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's not one item out there. I
And
can
the
think
last two things is there's a huge cult following.
of. Oh, huge. Yeah. Yeah.
Huge. All the horror fans and all that are all
Right.
into that. And then the last one that came out was just a couple days ago, October the 11th. Their new computer animated movie just came out.
Oh, that's right.
and
yeah.
that hit theaters the 11th. So
who's
I
doing
don't know
voices in there?
the voices. Yeah, I don't
Oh.
know. I don't know. It looked okay actually though. I watched
Yeah.
the trailer for it. I think it was like a day ago, and I was like, doesn't look bad.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, I thought I would like to
Check it out.
listen to it.
yeah. Did you have any other thoughts about Addams Family other than the story you can't tell?
No, that's it.
All right. Yeah,
That
I
was a good
remember watching it when I was a kid, and I didn't not like it, but it was always just weird to me.
The movie,
The TV show
the TV show.
when I was a kid, because the movie wasn't out when I was a kid.
Like what? Like
It just I don't know. Like for instance, like I Dream of Jeannie or any of those other ones, or what's her name, the witch one.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Bewitched.
Bewitched. There you go. Like those have supernatural tones to it too, including the Munsters. Munsters is
Right.
gonna be the closest. They never came off weird to me, but like Addams Family always came off like a weird vibe to me, and I didn't like it as much as I liked the Munsters. The
Right.
Munsters was a little bit. You'll probably back me up on this. A little bit more slapsticky.
Yeah.
A little bit more Tommy Boy.
Right.
Versus this is a little bit more intellectual, I would
Yeah,
say.
I think Addams Family
slightly.
is. Yeah.
So I'm sure when I was a kid, I probably just didn't get,
Right.
like I didn't get all the stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then I've watched some of it more, but I mean, like as I've been an adult, but like not as much as the Munsters. The Munsters I've watched quite a few times, and I've always dug it. And I always liked Herman because he was just goofy,
Right.
and Lily is hot. So,
Yeah, she was hot.
Yeah.
But
I like the Addams Family.
like in the town I grew up in, you were limited. I mean, you didn't have any channels here.
Right.
I think not until like I don't know, like
1914.
1914.
That was when you first got your first
No,
channel.
I would say like the mid 80s. We got like cable boxes,
Right.
and there was something like 15 channels or
Mhm.
something like that. So
And
I
then
mean,
you click B and you got 15 more. It's like magic.
and
The future
and
is
if you stay up
now.
late at night, you get that one extra hidden channel.
Through the lines.
It would always come on at
Poltergeist?
6
Poltergeist, bro.
p.m. So we didn't have a lot of choices when it came to
Channels.
programming and
Right.
stuff like that. So we would watch whatever was on TV, and Addams Family was always on TV. Like Addams Family, Brady Bunch, and the Munsters too. I remember seeing them.
Dukes
a
of
lot.
Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard was another one. Yeah, yeah. So
I think it was, if I remember correctly, I think it was 12 channels on most of the clicker TVs. 12, and then if you had the AB box, you doubled it.
Yeah, we had two. So we had the 12 channels up top, and then there was
that's high tech.
there was if you put the top one on U, there was a U.
Right, I remember.
You could get like 40, almost
That was
40
the
channels.
Poltergeist channel for me.
Yeah,
He turned in theirs, is like,
yeah.
and it's like, yeah, we can't be here.
I think because we had Well, it was actually my grandma that had. We didn't have shit. We
Right. Oh, there you go.
we were
Yeah.
poor.
Mhm.
They had that TV that did that, and they were able to pick up other programming that we weren't able to watch. But I mean, we still only had those channels, and the choices were Addams Family or the Munsters, or you could watch one after another.
Yeah, and was it I Love Lucy? You'd have
Right.
Leave It to Beaver.
Right.
All the old
The classic.
the shows that all
Yeah.
came out in the 50s and the 60s.
Right.
You know what I
So,
mean? And
yeah,
we watched that as kids. That's what
we
a
were
lot of people
watching.
don't understand is like when we were kids,
Right.
we were actually watching 80% of what our parents watched.
Right.
Just because there wasn't anything coming out.
Well, I mean,
There wasn't really the Dukes of Hazzard was newer,
Right.
but even that was still like
the only thing that separated kids from their parents' entertainment was music. Music was different.
music was definitely different.
Yeah,
dude.
that was
And
that was
later on. Then we had video games. And
that
things
was the thing that really
set us aside.
set us apart from each other was the music. But I mean, music has even advanced so much. Adults are listening to the same music as kids.
It surprises me, dude, because when we were kids, it was not that way.
No, it wasn't.
And now you'll see
right?
a mom that's like in her 40s listening to the same music as her kids. And
Yeah,
that didn't happen when we were kids.
No, it didn't. It was.
Nope.
It's weird. It's weird to
It
me.
is different.
It's because there's no generation gap anymore.
Yeah, it's the technology. Totally.
Yeah, technology is totally just separated us at the same time, brought us
closer together.
Yeah,
There's pros and cons with that too.
Yeah, there is.
So,
but yeah, Addams Family was one of those shows, and then we would have on Sundays the Monster Fest
at night. Was it at night?
No, they would start at noon.
Oh.
They would have like they had Frankenstein with Abbott and Costello.
Oh
right?
yeah, I own that.
Yeah.
I own that, dude.
So they would have that. They had the original.
The more kid-friendly ones in the day, probably.
Well, no, because they played Frankenstein on there. Frankenstein.
Still kid-friendly compared
yeah,
to
I
what
guess
was
so.
even what the adult
Yeah.
movies at that time. It was still kid-friendly compared to
right.
the adult movies.
Yeah, so those kinds of scary movies.
And kids are drawn to monsters, dude.
Right.
Especially the classics, dude.
Yeah.
The Frankenstein's, the
Oh,
Draculas.
I loved classic
the-
monsters.
yeah,
Growing
Universal
up,
monsters.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have anything else? Anything else stands out about TV or the Addams Family?
No, it was really cool to be able to experience that while growing up as a kid. Yeah,
It was, dude. Different time, man.
Totally set us apart from
And it's weird because
what people know now.
And what's weird is it as a kid you're like whatever, mom and dad, blah, blah, blah. And now you're older and you're just like they were right about.
you totally
this shit.
appreciate
yeah,
what
you're
they were
like,
saying.
I get what you're saying now.
God damn it!
Damn kids.
Why didn't I understand you then? Yeah.
We could have got along so much better.
Yeah. My time as a time traveler has taught me. It's taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say what up to Cable.
Brought
time
me
you see
to
him.
a place of internal peace and humbleness.
So what's
Let me
going
tell
on
you-
with that Addams
Let me
Family
tell you
story?
how humble I am, Johnny.
All right, let's go. I'm so humble because
Very, very
a lot of
humble.
eyes in there. Eyes and I'm.
And me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all about me. All right. Let's see what we got here. We got another free talk for you guys. And we got Chris had a Mortal Kombat story. All right. So Chris found this last week, and we got to bring it to you this week.
Right.
But the new Mortal Kombat movie that's supposed to be coming out is supposed to be rated R.
Yeah. So
Which the other ones were PG-13s back in the day.
Yeah, they were, and they were. You remember the campy.
So yeah,
kinda,
and I don't remember how many movies there are now, but I mean I know I saw the first one quite a few times because it was just like right after it was such a big thing in the arcades.
Right.
And then the second one I think I saw like one time, and then I believe there's a couple others after that.
Yeah.
But I don't even know because I never saw those.
Yeah, I don't.
And it
know.
looked all
I
bad.
know there's Mortal Kombat, the first one, and then there's the Annihilation.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Is that the part 2? Or?
Yeah, that's part 2 where they have the green lizard guy.
Oh, yeah, Reptile.
Reptile's in there. The first one.
Oh, see, he's saying it right here
Yeah.
that he will make LMR. So there you go.
Yeah. So
The
yeah.
R rating
Yeah, the R rating
with the picture.
Yeah. He. This is the
tweet.
one of the writers.
Mhm.
His name is Greg Russo, and he tweeted out last
I don't know.
actually January 11th, 2019.
July.
July
Yeah.
11th. That they're releasing the film in an R rating. And it's going to be filled with blood and gore. It's not
Well, they're going to do
not sexual
the
content.
thing that the thing that got taken away from this was that they're going to be able to do the fatalities.
Right.
So that I think that is actually when you brought it to me, I know you were like, "What? Wait, I don't remember," but like that is definitely what you were saying. Like,
right.
they're going to be able to do the fatalities.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be badass. So imagine
Kano doing the
Or-
heart grab,
or Raiden
Yeah.
lifting you in the air and
Yep.
shocking you and just
or just Sonya's naked. Never mind.
her crab grab.
No, I don't.
I don't know what it's
Crabs.
called.
Crabs.
her crabs
Sure.
grab. Yeah, so it's going to be an R rating. They've already casted a
slew.
a Sub-Zero.
Oh, have they?
Yes, his name is Joe Tasman. No, Tasman.
Tasmania.
So he's going to be playing. He's from Indonesia. He's going to be playing Sub-Zero.
Isn't that where they found the pumpkin
Yeah,
spice?
right?
How interesting. How we tied that
interesting.
together.
So
That was coincidental.
yeah. So he's going to be playing that part. People are excited about it, hearing about it, because I guess there's just a really big
Cult following.
Yeah, cult following, underground base who wants a new movie, who wants it done right. So hopefully these writers will get it right. But the thing is, they cast this guy in Sub-Zero, and they haven't even started writing the movie yet.
That's cool though.
Yeah. So
They had their eye on the guy they wanted.
Right,
Hopefully
right.
it's a good casting.
right. So maybe they're gonna build a film around this guy. Hopefully, yeah.
Sub-Zero, do we really know what he looks like and all that stuff? I mean, I haven't followed it that much since the 1990s,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing his face. So
There's tons of new characters. There's been
I just remember him like
so many generations of the game have come
doing the
out since
fucking-
we were
Yeah,
kids.
I know, right? Come here, and the
Get over here.
Scorpion and
Yeah.
shit. Like, come on, dude. Like
Yeah.
they're just wearing the same shit.
Yeah. But that was cool when the game first came out.
It was.
Remember?
It still is amazing.
It
I was gonna
is.
say it was. It still is. I
Remember
love-
the test your might? Test
Yes.
your might.
And I
then
like
you-
the little like slide that they would do. It's like that's not even possible, but okay.
He's Sub-Zero, man.
Liu Kang's bicycle kick. We should do that one time. Find all the stupidest like fighting moves in video games
And then
that you
make a
thought were
compilation.
cool,
Yeah.
but like obviously E Honda from Street Fighter 2's
Right.
hand. What the fuck is that?
Or what's
What
his
sumo
or
wrestler?
Zangief, whatever.
Yeah, what was that?
He plays like the accordion with
pa.
you. He's just squeezing you. Like,
And
what
his
is that?
spin around thing too did. Remember he spun around?
Oh, that's right. What the hell, dude?
What was that?
I don't know.
Like at least Blanca did like that
Some
electric thing, and then he
big-
did the biting. That
was
was cool.
like a giant Russian move. I'm just going to spin and hit people.
Yeah, it was always like Zangief, slow down, stop being Russian.
Why are you Russian, bro?
That was crickets.
Calm down.
That was horrible.
Slow down.
All right, so on that
Don't be
stupid joke,
Russian.
so you had another one here, and this was the Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what was this?
So apparently
I
there
don't know
was
anything about this.
a resource officer who is assigned to
A school?
a high school.
Okay, so he's this cop at the school.
Right. Thomas E. Waitman's middle school in Wesley
Florida?
Chapel, Florida.
All right, wherever that
It was
is.
a Florida man.
Florida man story.
So this guy is fidgeting with his sidearm and it goes off. He's been known to fidget with his gun and has been talked to about it.
What the
Because
fuck?
he gets nervous and he fidgets with his gun. Out of all things to fuck with,
It's like your nightstick, bro, ain't gonna do anything on its own. So why don't
Yeah.
you fidget with that?
playing with his gun. And so the gun goes off in the cafeteria.
So let's be clear about this. Let's think about this real quick. To fidget with your gun and your gun discharge, holsters all have covers over their pistol guard. So this has not been mentioned in the story. What you have to realize is that they have to pull it out somewhat.
Right.
So this gun was not holstered.
No, it was not
Even if it was
holstered.
resting in the holster,
Right.
it was not fully holstered.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guns have a push button to pull them out. So, like, you can't even eject the gun out of the holster unless you push
Maybe
the button.
he's just one of those guys who likes to push the button and push his
He could have been
firearm
doing
back
that,
in.
and then he put his finger on the trigger and
right,
shot it.
Right.
But, I mean, there's no way that this was a whole... Like, I own, like, 5 holsters, different holsters. And I have a Glock, so it's like I can tell you that they all have a cover
Right.
over that, like, trigger.
Right. So you know what it would take for this sidearm to...
Even let me even go further than that. Even the cheaper holsters, where they're one of the lower end ones, that you would even like what are they called? Nylon, tactical nylon, and you'd have them like in a drop holster or even like a cheaper holster version of them. It always covers your trigger.
Right. So the trigger is never exposed,
even if it's the cheapest
until
holster.
you pull it out.
Yes.
Right. Because you don't want an accidental discharge.
Yep,
right?
you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
crazy.
one thing that wasn't even talked about in
Right,
the story.
right.
that-
Oh, they're not
that was
gonna
the
talk
only
about
thing.
it from
Yeah,
that
that was
angle.
the only thing that when
Yeah.
I heard about this
Right.
story, I knew nothing about it. But I saw that I was like, wait, he had to have it in his hand, even if it was still resting over his holster. It was
Yeah.
still out.
Yeah. So this happened April 30th, and
It would have been awesome if it said April 1st. I'm like, God damn it, Chris.
so he promptly quit, or they fired him. I don't remember exactly.
I'm leaning with the fire.
I think they fired him for mishandling. Oh, that's what it was. He mishandled his weapon, and they fired him for that. Yeah, discharged unexpectedly. Blah blah blah.
Okay, so that just happened.
Yeah. So anyway,
I wasn't touching it. But
yeah,
alright.
it was his. They terminated him for accidental discharge.
So what's the takeaway from this? The main reason bringing this up, only the government should be the ones responsible for having firearms.
Yeah, like ARs.
And this is a government agent, right? He's trained.
Right.
Only well-trained police officers
Right.
are the ones that should be having guns. A lot of people will say, or especially the liberals.
Right.
And that just
Fuckheads.
showed that didn't work at all.
What didn't work?
Only well-trained cops should have guns.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
or you
that
think
didn't-
you thought of something?
no,
else?
you clicked something over there, and I was like,
No. I was
holy shit, dude! Tell me we were recording.
Oh man! All right, so this is a
What's
funny
this?
one. This is a funny one.
Okay.
So let me see where the picture is. Bring this up. There you go. So this lady
What the hell?
did not want to pay in air travel to check in her bag. So her carry-on is that suitcase with probably her underwear and her toiletries. And so she wore every article of clothing that she was bringing on the trip.
Wow.
So she would. That's free market, bro.
Hey man, you improvise and overcome.
Hats off to her, bro. I mean, she shouldn't take her hat off because she has to bring that on the trip.
Right.
But I mean, like,
Dude, that's
pretty
brilliant.
slick.
That's
Look at
brilliant.
it. Like, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. So she has 6 pants.
That's not even including what you can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
amazing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think that's pretty cool, man. So that was going around the
Heck
social media.
yeah.
It was just one of those funny mentions.
Beautiful.
I like it. I thought that was pretty
I
fun.
like it a lot.
All right, so now we're going to get into our topic. The horror subculture.
Dum dum dum.
So, me and Chris did some research, and we could not find a damn thing.
Yeah.
We found
We even had a debate about it.
Yeah.
Like what's considered what
Horror.
we thought
Mhm.
was considered horror. And
Yeah.
we couldn't come up with the clear definition
no.
of it either.
I always lean
Yeah.
with the traditional answer. My answer would be it's got to have some kind of supernatural. However, there is loopholes because some alien movies can be that way, which aren't supernatural.
And that we talked
And slasher
we talked
movies-
this out.
We did.
People.
We were
talked
having
it
a
out.
discussion.
Yeah.
So we went through that. That's just in the I don't know, the classification of horror is
Right.
what we were talking about.
Right.
But as far as the subculture goes, so as cosplay, there was a little bit
Yeah.
of information,
Not a whole
lot. Now on this topic, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Now you could find stuff and we could be wrong. There could be some documentaries and things that we couldn't
Yeah,
find.
maybe you guys could steer us in the right direction.
do it.
Yeah.
But we found some things with like conventions, fans,
Right.
the directors.
Mhm.
We found a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's where I had to go with a lot of research on the individual. So, like, for instance, John Carpenter. I had to listen to his beginning life a lot
Mhm.
to kind of figure out what he was doing and where
Right.
he was coming from.
Uh-huh.
Different directors and stuff like that. Do you
Right.
have any of the directors that you really like in the horror by any chance, or just like in general, you're just like, I just like the ones I like?
I like Carpenter. I mean, I love
Carpenter's my boy.
Yeah, we were listening to him talk. It was.
I love him.
He's a brilliant guy.
Oh yeah,
I also like. I can't think of him off the top of my
Wes
head.
Craven.
Barker. A lot of the '80s
Oh
guys.
yeah, I got him written down.
Yeah.
We'll get there. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go like this is kind of a continuation in a weird way off of last week's cosplay.
Right.
So in the beginning, it's the same exact roots. We're talking about in the late 1920s, 1930s, sci-fi and fantasy conventions were
Right.
happening in people's houses, in restaurants and things like that. And then the first con was in, what was that, 38, if I remember right?
Yeah, 38 or 39.
Where he did
yeah.
the first cosplay.
Yeah.
What was his name? Forrest J. Ackerman,
Right.
if I'm not butchering it.
Yeah.
That's
Forrest
all
J.
memory.
Ackerman. Yeah.
So the first thing that where the sci-fi and the horror and everything came from was definitely books.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's where it all
The
came.
stories.
So we got So we got the books. We got then later on we had the movies and the magazines.
So I know Frankenstein was released like
It wasn't
in the 1800s.
I was gonna say it's either
Yeah.
late 1700s or early 1800s.
and that was the first horror, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That was the first horror, and after that, I think
Dracula.
Yeah, they started it.
And they did all the different sci-fi ones as well.
Right.
Which all had that weird,
Yeah,
dark, creepy.
I don't know a lot about that old sci-fi, but I did know that.
Mhm.
I did know that much.
So it all came from there.
Right.
And then we're going to fast forward, and then it started turning into obviously magazines, movies, comic books. Before all that, when it was just the books backing up plays.
Mm.
So you had a lot of plays.
Oh yeah. Yeah, lots of plays.
And then we had radio before the movies and the TV.
Right.
I don't have these in order, I'm sorry. But like we had
War
radio
of the World was considered horror.
sci-fi.
Sci-fi horror.
Sure. I'm not going to say no, but yeah.
Yeah.
It freaked everyone out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then comics, especially in the 40s, 50s. Is when
Maybe terror is what I'm looking for.
I would say it's just. I would say it's more like
See,
suspenseful
And this is the
sci-fi.
this is kind of like what happens when we talk.
Yeah, you got to debate it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you
got to
gotta
figure
debate
it out. Yeah. All right. So, nonetheless, all that shit was going on, right?
Right.
So we have all that stuff. So then, in the 1940s and 50s, let's fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna let me back up. I'm sorry. I'll just let me give myself a note. So we're gonna go to the 30s. So now after the conventions and all that stuff, we're going on. In the 1920s, they had a bunch of even before that, but they had like their silent movies and stuff like Nosferatu, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
And there was others, right? Phantom
Right.
of the Opera was also a silent one,
Right.
and that was a big one too,
Well,
American one.
There was remember that the clown that the Joker's based off of.
That was The Man Who Laughs.
The Man Who Laughs, yeah.
Right.
But that wasn't horror. That was
No,
just
it was
a
kind
short
of an
film.
oddity story.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was just weird,
Yeah.
but it was dark.
It
Like
was
the
dark.
opening, if I'm not mistaken, the opening scene or damn near the opening scene, there's a bunch of people like being hung, swinging in the wind, and it's all creepy, dude.
Right, and he's smiling through
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
through the whole thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's a
so
bunch of these
creepy,
like silent films, and
Right.
Lon Chaney was like, we're gonna talk about him next week, but he was like one of the main one. He was the first Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
And he stepped up and did all this like early silent movies and stuff.
Mm.
So that was all the 20s, right? Then we're
Right.
going to fast forward to more of the recent, I wouldn't say recent, but more modern horror films. So the first one was Dracula in 1931 that had sound.
Oh, okay. sound.
Universal.
This is the kind of like the definer for us, right?
Now this is going to be like our backbone of our like so obviously people were into horror to get to that point, obviously.
Right.
And there was conventions and all that stuff. But now in the 30s is when Universal American movies started to really start pumping them out. So in 31 is when Dracula came out with Bela Lugosi.
Right.
And then right after that, I believe it was within the same year or it was either the same year or year after Frankenstein was dropped after that. And that was like Universal's too big, like their main push to push out. I'm going off memory, but I'm pretty sure it was the same year. That was the ones. that came out and just made this whole new
Right.
genre a
Right.
thing, like a big thing.
Yeah, because there was like the Mummy, you had Frankenstein, you had Dracula.
So Mummy came out after.
Right. But it
So-
was still a universal monster, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So Dracula, Frankenstein, first year of horror
Right.
of the Universal monsters, and then we had the Mummy, and then we had after that we had Wolfman.
Right.
I believe that might be 40 or 41, and then we had after that we had Creature,
Creature
which
from
was I
Black Lagoon,
believe
yeah.
54.
Right.
So that was a big jump of time, but those were like the main. When you say Universal monsters,
Right.
that's who we think of, right?
The Blob, you consider a
That
Blob
was
a
yeah.
monster?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That would be in the 50s.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was a good
I
one.
just saw a trailer for the Blob, the original movie.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So now, so we've covered pretty much the 30s. Kind of give you a quick version of it. But then what ended up happening? So in the 30s, we were getting back to that for a second. That was when they were doing more of the horror, supernatural, fantasy-ish monster kind of thing, right?
Like
Frankenstein was a little different because it was science kind of based, but
like what fantasy monster?
so I'm talking about Dracula,
Oh, okay.
like vampires, ghosts,
Right.
ghouls, things like that. Now we're going to get into the 40s and 50s. So that's when World War II ended. So 45 is when World War II ended. Now we're going to get into the enemy in especially the 1950s, but
Mhm.
late 40s. It all turned into nukes. Technology, computers, science, like that was the enemy. So like that created huge monsters, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman,
Right.
that giant tarantula
Right.
movie, the
Like
ants.
giant
Mhm.
existential threats to your safety.
So that played off of definitely the times.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And the social commentary of like
Right.
where we were going as a society.
Mhm.
So I thought that was cool that's kind of where it changed. And if you notice, like if you go back and watch these movies, like 30s, 40s, they were trying to make movies that were pushing the envelope. They were trying to make stories. 50s is when they started to get like leaning more sci-fi. Is a safe, nice way of saying.
Yeah.
It got very cheesy. It got like dun dun dun, right? Where the
Yeah.
other ones were just more like dark music, and it
Right.
got more. I don't know.
Dramatic,
Mm-hmm.
more campy.
Do you have any 50s movies other than The Blob that you can think of? The Blob might even have been in the 60s. I can't remember early,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking like when I think of 50s horror movies, I'm thinking of like like I said, the tarantula, the ants, like all the monsters that are like radioactive.
I keep seeing Godzilla, dude. I don't know why.
Well, I think that came out. If I'm not mistaken, I think that came out in like the late 50s or early. And that's Japan,
Mhm.
but that still came out of the nuclear like kind
yeah,
of.
the nuclear
same
threat.
shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cold War bullshit.
So what's interesting is our Forrest J. Ackerman, who we were talking about, was all into that stuff, and he came out with that famous Monsters of Filmland
Right.
magazine. And we're gonna fast forward now a little bit to like the 80s and 90s, and we're gonna say John Carpenter, Clive Barker, Stephen King. Those guys all were reading those magazines. They were all watching those.
Yeah,
those-
they were all influenced by a guy who was totally part of the movement that created cosplay.
Right. So what I would say, I would argue, is that our first generation of monster fans were more sci-fi / monster fans.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Fantasy.
I would say. Yeah.
Then our next generation are these guys that now we're going to talk about, and then they are the guys that grew up with all the reruns and the 50s movies, and then that's where they kind of got into it, growing up in the late 60s
right.
and the 70s. So that's where we're going now. So let's go with these guys real quick here. So John Carpenter. So we're going to name these off just so you guys understand where all that came from, that history came from. Now, what did they put out? And these are to name a few because there's other movies. But these are the ones that I felt like were important. So John Carpenter,
Right.
Halloween,
Yes.
The Fog,
Yeah. Another great movie.
The Thing,
Good movie.
Christine,
Awesome.
So those are just the name of Prince of Darkness. Sorry, I had a couple more.
Yeah.
They Live
Fuck, who doesn't love that movie?
in the Mouth of Madness.
Dude, that movie is sick. I just watched it like 2 weeks ago.
And that's just John Carpenter. We haven't even got to the other guys yet.
That is one horror director.
Great,
Okay.
right? And sci-fi and weird.
I remember that. Was it with him the interview where he says, "What? How do you scare people?" And he says, like, I don't know, just think of real stuff. That's
He has said stuff like that before.
Yeah,
A couple of them have actually said that too.
Right. You just think of real scenarios.
Now, Stephen King. Now, some of these he's directed, some of these he's written or co-directed.
Right.
He's written, but a lot of it's just more of stories, honestly, like just to be a disclaimer here. But The Shining,
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Carrie, Pet Sematary,
Ooh.
Cujo. I didn't even
Ooh.
realize that was him.
Damn, Cujo.
Right?
That's right.
Children of the Corn,
Right.
Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
Great one.
Damn, that was a good movie.
Especially for the 80s
Yeah.
shit. What else do we got? We got Cujo. Where am I? Lost my place. Salem's Lot. So that was on the list earlier.
Yeah.
That was the TV movie, the vampire one. All right, so now we got George. I'm so bad at this.
I think
one.
it's Romero.
Romero.
Yeah.
Okay, so Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
So, as far as you zombie fans out there,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry for butchering the name because I really don't. I mean, follow him too.
That
much.
is like the
But I love that
quintessential
movie.
fucking zombie movie.
It was the first one where they were depicted as eating humans.
Yeah.
So he came out obviously first with Night of the Living Dead. Then he came out with Dawn of the Dead in the shopping mall,
Mm-hmm.
the original one. And he did the remake too.
Right.
Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead. So he's got a theme here: Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. Whatever, Land of the Dead. And then I didn't realize this one, but this is a newer one. But he did the Crazies.
Oh, really?
I did not know that.
Oh, damn.
And I do like that movie.
Yeah, that movie's good.
So out of those ones, I do like Night of the Living Dead. I do like Dawn of the original Dawn of the Dead, and then I liked the Crazies. Out of those, that I really like.
You know,
Like I would go out of my way to
I'm
watch.
thinking about it right now, and I'm fucking so scared of zombies, dude. Like, I never realized we were talking about zombie movies right now.
Are slower zombies scarier to you than the fast ones, or are the fast ones scarier to you than the slow ones? To me, the slow ones creep me out more. I don't know
Dude,
why.
they're
Both scary.
They're
Don't get me
all
wrong.
scary, man. I think the fast ones.
Let's see, for me, it's
Because
the slow ones,
you have
dude.
to have stamina, dude.
It's that, you know why? Because it's that like dream state where you can't run and move fast and you can't get away, and they're just still there, even though they're not like I can get away from them, but they're always a threat.
Yeah, they're
I think
always
that
going to be
to
there.
me that's why they freak me out.
No,
And they're dead, and they're just,
you know what's it's creepy. They're creepier. I would say the slow moving ones are creepier, but the ones that run fast scare me.
See, my argument earlier when we were doing the top 13 countdown of the vampire ones is when it's a vampire/zombie apocalypse, but they're vampires and they're moving fast. Like, why don't you just do it that way?
Yeah,
Makes more sense
yeah.
to me.
Or
And
just
just
give them the regular human ability to walk.
Or that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why got to be logical? It's because they're dead, bro. They should be walking like.
Yeah, like they're
Because think
fucked
about
up.
the mummy, right? Like, so they are
Right.
kind of like the mummy.
So
the
they
mummy
got
is a zombie, really.
broken bones and like torn ligaments or whatever. So they can't walk.
But you remember the mummy, right? Like the mummy moved
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He moved like a
So
zombie.
See, so
Yeah.
I feel like it should be that, and he is a zombie. If you think about it.
He is. Yeah. I think we've done this
See?
before, right?
So see, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Tell us we're wrong. All right, where do we leave off? Okay, and then we got Barker.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sky
yeah.
Barker. So he did the Hellraiser movies.
Right.
So we're talking a little bit newer, but still. Nightbreed and Candyman.
Nightbreed. Candyman was good too. Oh shit.
I
dude.
just watched that too.
Oh
It's
shit.
been years, and I was like, I got.
What was his catchphrase?
Oh fuck, dude! I just watched like 2 days ago, and I can't even remember.
Come with me, or something.
Something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he said a few things, but yeah.
I'm the Candyman.
Yeah, it was creepy. I heard they're doing another one with him casted.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Look it up.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, the point of bringing those up and these are just 4 different guys.
Right.
Bringing those up real quick is just to show you those movies all came from them being hardcore fans
Right.
of the horror genre.
Right.
growing up in the 60s.
Yeah, being fans and having access to the Movie Monsters magazine, or what was it?
Yeah. The
yeah.
famous
Famous
monsters. Yeah.
Having access to
Filmland.
because of Forrest J. Ackerman's contributions,
Which goes
to
back to our
sci-fi.
last episode with
Yeah.
cosplay.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. You follow the lineage, and it brings us to this point. But what makes fans nuts for horror? Like,
What do you think first? Let's start.
what do I think? I think it is.
I have like 100 things written down,
Oh, do you? Okay.
but I want to hear what you say.
I think it is a.
We got into a debate on this as well,
Yeah.
by the way.
I think. Well, I've been thinking about it a little bit. I think it's a mix of.
Now, wait. Let me clarify this real quick. The difference between normies that just like horror movies versus
Right.
horror culture, because we're
Right.
talking horror culture here now.
Right.
People that actually live, eat, sleep, and shit this stuff.
Right. So I would say a normal person likes the shock value of
I agree.
of the movie.
Of the unknown and the
Yeah.
suspense and the creepiness.
Like if you if you want to take it to like a primordial place, and I guess whatever triggers your fight or flight.
Fight or flight. Okay,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I
Right.
had written down as well.
Okay, so I think of course we know we're not in danger in a movie theater.
Yeah, you're in a safe spot.
But so you have that, it triggers that emotion in you, fight or flight, and it's euphoric to some people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for people who aren't regular fans of horror,
Right.
just go like, during Halloween time or whatever, that they have that.
Or the big one that comes out.
Yeah, they have
in
that
the theater.
euphoric feeling.
Like
It.
It.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah,
because
and it's different than somebody who say
a
is
hardcore avid fan.
that is a true fan of horror.
All right, so I'm gonna go with some, and then I want to hear your thoughts on these. So people are drawn to horror, and now I would go with along with John Carpenter and King, Barker, all those guys, right? Like I would say that they are outcast. They're kind of a different breed.
Right.
They don't like even horror directors, horror makeup artists, anyone in that horror, and I'm talking still like in the 80s and before right now. We're not even to present day. But like I would say that they were definitely like some of them were bullied. They were kind of like on the outskirts of society, or they liked things that were slightly different, and they were just their own, kind of like how punk rock was different than anything else. Kind of on that. Like that's always what I gathered from
Right.
these guys.
Right.
That they were kind of a different thing, and they found a weird comfort in being different and liking different creepy things that the average person didn't like.
Right.
They grew up in the comics of that era, the movies, where the average person wasn't. I mean, people, don't get me wrong, these people were looked as nerds, bro.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? They
Like,
weren't.
yeah,
like,
well,
like now it's cool to
anybody into sci-fi or like alternate universes,
especially in our
or-
age.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
before.
it's like,
And before.
Yeah, you were a nerd. You were a nerd.
Now it's
kid,
not a big deal.
Yeah, no.
Comic
it's-
book movies you'd be a total nerd. Like now,
Oh, yeah.
now they're huge, like with Iron
Yeah.
Man, Avengers, and whatnot, right?
Like we've been following this since we were kids,
Yeah,
and we see how.
it's changed.
Yeah, it's totally changed. I mean, I remember like getting the first the like reader's edition of a comic book, and it had a special stamp on it. You took care of the comics, because it was like it was an appreciation of the art that was in there as well as the stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyways, I did say, like I said, outcast, bullied, different. That was a lot of it. Not all, but a lot of them were that way. I think people like the look of the unknown and like what is beyond that dark window when you're looking out it. Like that weird, kind of like in the Middle Ages, they were scared of the forest and they were scared.
Right.
I feel like that's what a lot of people were drawn to, especially in the early days.
It's kind of like our lost art of storytelling.
Yeah, totally.
Of what's in the dark, or what's dark inside of you. Right?
Yeah, that's horror right there.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Some people just liked it because it looked creepy and the darkness of it, right?
Right.
Like when I remember seeing like Dracula, and I was just like, what is this dude about? Like, what is this? You know what I mean? It just looked weird. Like, it was not normal. Like, the average movies that we're watching at the time when we were kids, like, you would see one of the horror movies and shit, and they either were, like, real scary looking, or they just were like, what is this? Like, you knew it was scary, but, like, there was something about it that you were just like, what? It's like that unknown thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, when you talk about that, I think of the whole Slender Man saga.
Oh yeah, how that's like a little like folklore-y kind of weird,
but people,
urban legend kind of thing.
But people are immersed. I mean, created.
I came across like 8
that.
videos doing research for this show
that
were Slender Man related. They all were garbage. I was gonna play a couple of them, but none of them ended up turning out
they're
good.
Bad.
But the fact,
it's fan fiction.
But the point is that you bring that up, just saying like. That is a thing that's out there. You just type in Slender Man, and you got like 100 videos on YouTube,
it's a whole
and they're all trash.
And it's an underground culture, and people believe that this guy is real.
Or they're doing it like the clown showing up at your house kind of thing, like they're trying to troll.
Yeah.
But in a like a horror way, right?
Right.
Now the other fans, I would say, trust me, these are not in order, so I have tons more. I would say some people now we're going to fast forward into the culture a little bit more. So like modern day, like people, like you'll see, like I have this Army of Darkness with Ash on it, like shirt. So people are dressing. Like I know some people I follow on Instagram, they only wear horror shirts.
Right.
Like 90%.
Right.
Like it's a fucking thing, bro.
Yeah, like they'll decorate their house with
totally
stuff,
and that doesn't mean that they're and that
and
doesn't mean they're like a stereotypical like what you would think is like a goth type person. It doesn't even mean that. It's like some people are into that and they do that, but we're just talking about the average horror fans. They'll have like bookcases full of horror movies,
right?
And then they'll have like their house with jack-o'-lanterns and skulls and things. Some of the rooms might be normal, some of the rooms aren't.
Right.
But like to the average Joe, right? But people actually immerse us. People will go during Halloween to go buy. I've been one of those people to actually go buy stuff at the Halloween store because I don't give a fuck.
So
about
you can have it all year round.
All year round.
Right. Right.
So that's a culture thing. Like that's a whole different thing.
Right.
So that would be the dress and the look, right? What else do we got here? Okay, I'm going to go back now to what you were saying about the fight or flight. So that's one of the things that attracts people to the movies,
right?
Especially as normies.
What we would say we're normies.
Like, and some of the horror fans too as well. We'll be fair about that.
Right.
But it also a good thing was good versus evil. Now, I feel like that's definitely more of the normies kind of thing because I was telling Chris that there's a lot of people that will be like, oh, I want the hero to win. I'm going to put myself in the shoes of the hero. This is what I would do. Because you're always yelling at the TV. Not just you, but I mean, you know, the viewer.
In general.
And they're saying all that. Well, like I told Chris, it's like most of the time, especially when it's vampires or whatever, I'll be like, well, I wish I was the vampire or going to just bite me. I want to be on the winning team, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I want to live forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I look at it like I feel like a lot of the real horror, the real hardcore horror fans are like, they like that. They also, I know for a fact, I know a couple people that think certain horror icons like Pinhead, Leatherface, Creature of the Black Lagoon are cute.
Right.
So the average Joe is going to see that and they're going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But real horror fans, it's weird. You know what I mean?
I think it's in this respect, it's a couple of things. It's the look, and it's also the appreciation for
the cosmetics of it, the makeup,
for the artwork that goes into it. I think that's a huge part of the culture is being able to try or to simulate what they see on TV and translate it into their own way of wearing makeup.
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially to the fan, the real fan, like what you were talking about.
And I think that's what it is. It's like a appreciation of the work and the art, but them interpreting it in their own way and showing it outwardly. Like that is to me like a true fan who really follows the genres, appreciates all aspects of it, loves the artwork, loves the darkness of it, And
Because there's nothing that, like, when you watch a horror movie, especially
I don't feel like
the
it's
old
about
ones,
horror
right.
with the horror fans.
So so check this out. It takes you to a different realm or a different like spooky world.
right.
It feel like when you're watching a good so think about when me and you were watching the other day. We were watching Black Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was like we were just total casual, whatever. It was daytime.
Dude, it reminded me of
takes
a
you to-
fucking snuff film, dude.
in a weird way.
Yeah, dude. I was like freaked out. I was like kind of
Especially
like,
for being like, what was that, like
Yeah.
1963
and that's what
or
made
some
it
shit?
even more like snuffy.
Right.
Like it was
But
old.
it takes you to a different.
It really did. It really took me
You're
to
in a
that
different place.
Like I felt like the dread or the fear.
Darkness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it was-
darkness
yeah.
of it. Yeah.
and it's cool,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
All right, let me get. So also, some people are attracted to it for the fear. They just like that, right?
Right.
Which goes in the adrenaline. Let's see. We just covered this, but putting themselves in. Some people do like it because they put themselves in the shoes of the hero, or the survivor, or the person trying to persevere.
Yeah.
Like some people do like that, right? Like so,
Right.
people that, especially people, I would say, people that watch the zombie movies, especially. That's what I had in mind when I wrote that
right.
down.
The hero. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to know like the survival aspect of it. Like, how do I get through that? You know what I mean?
Right.
I could see people
But
being
good
attracted to it.
horror, dude. People die at the end. They don't make it. That's to me like good horror. Is
I would
like,
say yeah and no, but I mean, yeah, I get what
because
you're
it
saying.
leaves you with the
Those are the
with
but you're
feeling
talking
of
the
fucking
zombie
dread, dude.
You're totally talking the zombie
My
movies.
God,
because there's
dude.
so many of them that you're like, I just watched 2 hours of this shit and the hero dies.
and he fucking
Especially
got
when
bit.
Especially when I first got into horror.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely what you were talking about. Some people get into it for the roller coaster ride of adrenaline.
Right.
The
The
high of it.
emotional roller
So
coaster.
some people
right?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a good one: escape from reality.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, I think, like horror because it's clearly not real.
Check this out.
And yeah, go ahead.
I think it's a reality check.
Okay, go ahead. Continue and see if you have what I have written down here.
So reality check would like these are real fears. I mean, these are real like
Well, no one wants to get bit
yeah.
or whatever
Okay.
or eaten.
So these are threats to you that or are horrible, right? But they could happen to you. Maybe you won't get bit, but you'll get hit by a car. You know. I don't know how that
I don't know.
connects.
You can
but-
get bit. You can get bit by.
Well, I
people.
mean, yeah, if somebody could bite
Yeah,
you,
some
but, I mean,
crazy
but you're
shit.
not
or
gonna
an
turn-
animal could
yeah.
do it. You know.
Yeah, Cujo.
Yeah,
Like,
fucking
dude,
sharks, bro.
how fucking real is Cujo, dude?
Cujo is scary.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I've been attacked 2 times by dogs.
right.
Both not
Yeah.
chihuahuas.
Yeah.
If I counted the little dogs, it'd probably 100. But like, yeah, big dogs, big pit bulls.
Yeah.
And I got away. I mean, I had to jump fences and shit.
right.
So I mean, and I had to kick one
I had
dog
to
in the
ru-
face,
I
bro.
had to run from so many dogs.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother story.
Jumping
And then
fences.
shh. Statute of limitations.
Mm.
All right. So what else do we got here? We got so on the escapism part of it,
Mm-hmm.
I added stress relief. Because you put yourself, if you think about this, like you put yourself in this crazy, I have a vampire, a zombie, whatever, ghost, haunted house, whatever it is, right? I have this, and now after I'm done with this movie, I'm like, okay, life might not be so bad.
Sorry.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? It's just like kind of like I watch these movies because they're so scary. Like, you know how people watch comedies for like
Right.
relaxing
Yeah,
and
okay,
whatever?
I get
well,
what
now
you're saying.
this is going to go the
Yeah.
opposite end. It's going to
So-
higher your stress rate, but then when you stop, it drops
When it's
you back
over,
down.
then you're cool. Yeah. It kind of.
So some people might be in it for that. I was just writing down anything I could think.
Yeah. Fear.
Some people
adrenaline,
just
yeah.
like seeing cool shit, like the special effects
Yeah.
and how did they do that, and trying to
Right.
figure. I do that a lot. Like I'll watch a movie and be like, did he use stilts? Did he do this? Did
Right.
he use a string? Did he use a line or whatever the fuck? Or did
Right.
they, especially with the older movies, did they use mirrors? How did they do that? You know, or like time lapse or whatever.
Or back in the. What were we? We were watching something, and we were kind of like in awe of what they were.
Black Sunday.
Was it Black Sunday?
Yeah, where her skull and then the eyes. That was the last thing I remember talking to you about.
Oh yeah.
And her
that
eyes
was
like
it,
popped up, and it was like I think it was a time lapse thing, but in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Because it probably started out where her eyes were up in her skull, and then it time lapsed, but they reversed it, so it made it look like they were growing. Yeah, you
Did
would
they?
just flip. What you would do is you would record it regular, and then you'd flip it so it was going the opposite way, and then you cut it. Does that make sense? Like you record it and then you flip it, and then I'm pretty sure that's how they did that, dude. But that's the kind of stuff I like. I like looking at that and like going.
Yeah, that was
that?
really interesting, man.
So on the same note about you like cool shit, and then the mental end of it, it makes you feel better about your real life. Because I ain't fighting no zombies. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's not that. The world is not that stressful. I mean,
compared to that, a zombie apocalypse or some shit,
or some dude chasing you with a fucking chainsaw.
Yeah, Michael Myers fucking trying to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not that bad. Jesus.
Yeah, no
well,
shit.
it could be, but I mean, it could be, but generally speaking, it's not. All right, so now, like, at the end of this is like to wrap this all up. Let's go through some of the things that like are part of the horror culture.
Okay.
And that like the subculture and even the mainstream culture. So merchandise is a huge fucking thing.
Huge.
Shirts, stickers, and we're not even just talking about like shirts and stickers. We're whole companies dedicated to doing shirts, posters, all that shit, right? Artists, from paintings to dudes that just do like prints, like even
comics, and
I've even seen different artists that do like tattoo flash. I even have some of it that's just tattoo flash art, but it's all monsters and horror related.
Oh wow!
But that's like what they do.
Yeah,
that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Back in our day, they had and before our day as well, the model kits were a big fucking thing. Do you remember that? So you'd buy like the little model, you piece them together and paint them.
I remember the
huge
vehicles,
culture.
but I don't remember any.
No,
horror.
so they had like full on Draculas, Frankenstein's, all that, and you'd build them and then you'd paint them and shit. That was a huge thing back in the day.
Yeah.
And then other art like we were saying paintings, but then there's also like sculptors. I've seen different people do not really necessarily taxidermy, but like and I'm sure they have done that as well as in horror. But like they'll do like skulls and they'll do like flower arrangements and stuff around it.
Well, I've even
a lot
seen
of
like I don't want to say future, but mystical creatures done that way, like horror creatures.
A little bit more like okay, I get what you're saying now.
Like centipedes with like like scary
art,
fucking,
dude.
Yeah,
it's like it's a huge tent. That's like a whole nother thing.
Glass blowing, I've seen that done, like horror done in glass blowing. What else?
Little teeny figurines, like everything, metal sculpting and things. I've seen so many cool things. I've seen furniture like that's just done in a horror style.
Yeah, I've seen.
But like that's what the company does.
I've seen like guns made up to look like steak shooters.
Oh yeah.
And like
have you seen the vampire hunting kits and shit?
Yeah,
those
like
are
vampire
cool
hunting.
shit.
Like who fucking
no one would like that
awesome.
unless you're a real horror fan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Then there was I'm just gonna keep jumping here. Then obviously there is the books. So people like there's a lot of people I know that are just like I have like every Stephen King book ever, or whatever it is, but they're into all the different books. That's just to give a quick version of it. Comics like Tales from the Crypt and on and on and on. There's a ton of those. Even like I don't really have straight up. I wouldn't call them horror comics, but I have like Blade and I have Ghost Rider and other ones that are affiliated with that.
Right.
And they're very dark, and they're all talking about the occult and werewolves, vampires, monsters, ghosts, demons.
Right.
So that's like close to it. Obviously, we got the monster magazines, which we've talked about.
Right.
We already said the T-shirt companies. So then another thing that's a whole huge culture is the bands. So there's a lot of music, right? So there's like obviously you have goth, right? We obviously have psychobilly that we've talked about a few times here, which eventually we should probably do that.
Yeah.
There's punk rock that's just horror punk. There's horror rock.
Right.
Like Danzig is a huge thing. Rob Zombie's a huge thing. Those are just the big names.
Well, and then the dark metal kind of.
Then there's that's getting into a whole nother thing. Yeah,
that's
absolutely. So and you're right. That's a whole nother level of like those guys are into the music, the look.
Right.
The movies, everything, right?
Right.
So then we have people down to the next one. We have horror artists, that do makeup. So we got special effects, or just sometimes they're just doing the makeup. So then we have like the costumes and the cosplay of the makeup artist and stuff, the special effects. Some people just even collect just the mask, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've seen that where they just have masks.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a friend who has a whole like Freddy get up.
Yeah, he's a big fan of it.
Yeah.
So
he has
a whole
fan, like,
cosplay basically.
Yeah, he has this mask. It just looks so like
Legit.
Dude, totally legit. Like, he spent hundreds of dollars on this fucking mask.
Thousands, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with the outfit.
And then, well, yeah, with the outfit, because his claws he has
are
real
legit.
claws.
Yeah.
He has a real sweater. It
looks dead on.
Dude, dead on.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah. The pants and the hat, everything that Freddie had, this guy has.
He has it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sicko. Then we have like other people that just like for instance, like the movies, the TV shows, right? Like The Walking Dead, or the random movie that they like. That's another
Buffy.
fan. Well, the people get into the other thing is they'll get into the documentaries. We watched a couple this week. And that's when you're a little bit more than just the average fan that's just into the movies and the TV shows. If you're starting to watch documentaries, you're pushing the envelope of being.
If you know more than 3 horror directors, you're probably
right. You're starting to get You're starting, especially if you find yourself going out of your way to watch documentaries and shit.
Yeah.
Then it goes to that next level, the conventions, because then you're starting to go to the conventions. You're pretty much for sure you're a horror fan.
Right.
At that point. Because there's no way you're going to a convention.
If you're going dressed up.
Unless it's for somebody like Chick or something.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's different.
You're
a cosplayer. You could be a cosplayer.
Yeah.
You could be. And not really into like tons of horror, but you're doing the cosplay circuit. I mean, but that's so
well,
rare.
you know what? Like, there's a character. His name's Ryuk from Death Note.
You brought him up before.
Yeah, he is a god of the dead, Shimigami. Like, and I love that character. I mean, everything about him. I love
just
it.
about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Something about it.
Like,
draws
I
you
would
to
totally, like, if I could, I would cosplay that.
Right.
That would be
that
the character. Yeah, yeah.
That's
heck
cool,
yeah.
dude. Right on.
Yeah.
So then there's the one other thing is the movie makers. So the guys that we were mentioning earlier, they're hardcore, avid fucking like horror fans.
Right.
Like that's their culture, bro. Like like some people will be like, oh, I don't want to be known as a horror director.
Right.
Well, these dudes that I named earlier all want to be known that way.
Yeah, like they live.
They might have gone through a stint
Yeah.
where they didn't want to be known that way, but now they in their
Right.
older life, they're like, yeah, I'm a horror director.
Yeah, like that was their goal in life, was to create horror.
Right.
Yeah.
What else do we got? We got YouTube channels that are dedicated to it, and podcasts that both have like just about horror stuff.
Right.
And then the final one, and we're going to talk about one of those podcasts next week. Me and Chris are going to do some research on it. The final one I wanted to bring up is there is a ton of pinup models and that type of thing on IG.
Mm-hmm.
And so people will just go, okay, whatever. But I'm telling you straight up, these ladies will like have their entire collection of pinup art. It's all horror related.
Right.
Like, and I'm talking tons. They're like everything, like from Elvira
and
down
even,
to the monsters and
like
stuff.
even their skin, like
everything.
Their ink,
they stay out
like
of the,
everything
well,
is like like horror related.
And not to mention that, but talking about the skin, a lot of them won't even be in the sun, so they look pale.
Right.
Like on purpose.
Right.
Like this is what they do. And you'll see like their posts, even their storylines and things like that. It's all related to the different horror movies and stuff. So you know that is a subculture. It is a thing that's going on. And that was the final thing. Do you have any final thoughts about like the horror culture and like
I know horror is starting to really catch on in like Japan and China.
Well, I think that, like, on that note, I feel like different countries get it in waves. So, like, America will be really big about it, like, in the maybe the 30s or whatever.
Right.
And then the 50s, it got big again. Then it died out. And then the end of the 60s. And then the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, and then England had it in the 60s and 70s. Like, it kind of bounces around. I know Japan a while back, wasn't The Ring one of them?
The Ring, and there was the one where people were killing themselves in the forest.
I remember.
Or whatever.
Well, that's kind of based off true shit too.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
So like that, like it'll go to different places.
And then there was a little kid that everybody was seeing, or something like that.
About all that.
God,
creepy.
Damn.
Yeah. The Sixth Sense. But in Japan.
No, this kid was like was a monster. But they would see him like curled up in the corner or some shit.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying.
Nope.
You bastard. Now I have to drive home, Johnny.
Right? Yeah, I heard that whenever it's a man driving by himself at night, you see him in your window.
So I scared,
in your rearview mirror.
I scared my son and I scared the shit out of my son and my nieces with this story one time. We were coming over Hecker Pass.
And I'm the bastard.
And I told him there was a man and a woman who ran out of gas up there, and the man went to go get gas and left a woman in the car. And he told her, don't look out of the windows unless you hear 3 knocks, right? So the lady ducks down underneath the console, right? And she's sitting there, and all of a sudden she starts hearing like scratching on the roof, right? And she's hearing the scratching, and she remembers her husband saying, don't look out the windows unless you hear the knocks, right? So she keeps hearing the scratching, and then it would stop, and then a little while later it would start again. And she was like so terrified out of her mind, like, is somebody playing a joke on me? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't like this. I want to stop. So she's so frightened, she's on the floorboards, and she like slowly opens her eyes, and she sees flashing lights. So she pops her head up, and she hears a voice over an intercom saying, ma'am, please exit the vehicle, walk backwards, and don't turn around. And as she starts to walk backwards, she looks over at the top of the vehicle, and her husband's hanging, and his toenails were scratching the top of the fucking roof of the car. And then I was like, oh shit, we're almost out of gas. Oh my god.
You didn't even finish the story. You just like, yeah.
Damn. And like they shit themselves, man. Oh,
way to go, asshole.
I feel so bad. That's horror, though. That's like
that is
that's your first
horror.
experience.
Yeah.
That's your that's living horror when it makes you cry.
Chris is an asshole. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was an old folk tale that I heard
type thing.
Yeah. Like the husband was hanging over instead of knocking, his toenails are dragging. And I think there was a part where he actually fell down on the roof, like a thud or something. I don't know. But that was the story I was telling them. That's the way I remembered it. And
they all
scared.
They all pooped
the
themselves.
Shit out. Yeah. Started screaming, crying. Oh, man. I'm such a jerk.
Yeah. I like it. Not in the spirit of Halloween. I like it. So next week
Trick or treat, man.
Yeah. Next week we're going to be talking about Halloween. And we're going to be talking about the monsters a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe Elvira.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a good one. So, yeah, we're going to continue with the Halloween thing. That'll be our, last one for Halloween.
That will be our
Halloween
October. Man, this month is flying by,
Flown by, bro. So, check us out on the web at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, SoundCloud, and Pornhub. And check out our link below us for our merchandise if you guys want a cool shirt like that guy, who's pretty creepy, too.
Shop.spreadshirt.com/Grim86.
Yep. All right.
The link is below. Yeah, that's it for us, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us on this Halloween edition of Grim 86 Freedom First podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, don't trust your leaders. We're out of here.